My child, stop. You have been running longer than you realize, not because you wanted to leave, but because your heart was tired of being hurt. And I am speaking now because I refuse to let you keep running when you were never meant to do this alone. What you are about to hear is not gentle background noise. It is a calling meant to interrupt you, steady you, and bring you back to truth. Stay with me. Listen closely. Every word ahead is intentional, layered, and meant for this exact season of your life. If you leave now, you will miss what your soul has been waiting to hear. But if you stay, everything begins to change. My beloved child, I see you running, and I want you to know this first before anything else settles into your heart. I am not watching you from a distance, and I am not confused by your movement. I see you clearly. I see the way your soul leans forward as if it is always bracing for impact. The way your heart stays one step ahead of pain, hoping that if you keep moving, nothing will catch up to you. You did not start running because you wanted to abandon me. You started running because something inside you learned that staying still hurt too much. Somewhere along the way, disappointment found you. Silence met you when you expected answers. Trust was broken where safety should have lived. And without even realizing it, you taught your heart that motion felt safer than vulnerability. So you ran, from stillness, from quiet, from hope, and sometimes from me, not because you stopped loving me, but because you were afraid of feeling that ache again. And I want you to hear this without fear. I have never misread your running. I never called it rebellion when it was survival. I never labeled you faithless when you were simply exhausted. I saw every step, every detour, every moment you told yourself, just keep going. Don't stop. Don't look back. And even then my gaze did not harden. It softened. Because I know what it costs a soul to keep running when it is already tired. My child, you may have believed that your running made distance between us, but distance does not work the same way with me as it does with people. Humans pull away when they feel rejected. Humans grow cold when they are misunderstood. But I am not like those who wounded you. When you ran, I did not cross my arms and wait for you to fail. I did not turn my face away in disappointment. I leaned closer. I adjusted my pace to yours. I walked alongside you even when you refused to look at me. You ran through noise, through busyness, through distractions, through achievements, through coping mechanisms that kept your heart occupied enough not to ache. And all the while, I stayed present in ways you did not recognize at the time. I was the quiet restraint that kept you from falling apart completely. I was the unseen hand that held you together on nights you should have broken. I was the breath you took when you felt like you had nothing left. You thought your strength was self-made, but it was borrowed from me. You thought your endurance was proof you didn't need me, but it was evidence that I was carrying you even while you ran. So listen to me now, gently and clearly. Your running never frightened me. It never offended me. It never disqualified you. It simply revealed how deeply you had been hurt and how desperately you needed rest. And now, my child, let me speak to the deeper truth beneath your running, the truth you may not have had words for yet. You were not running toward freedom. You were running from fear. Fear of hoping again and being disappointed again. Fear of trusting again and being wounded again. Fear of stopping long enough to feel what you buried just to survive. You convinced yourself that motion meant control, that if you kept your heart moving, nothing could pin it down. But control has a cost, and you are beginning to feel it now. The fatigue in your spirit is not because you are weak. It is because you were never meant to live this way. You were not created to outrun pain. You were created to be held through it. You were not designed to carry unanswered questions alone. You were designed to bring them to me. And still, I did not interrupt your running harshly. I did not trip you or force you to stop. I waited for the moment when your heart would finally whisper, "I'm tired." Because that whisper is holy to me. That whisper is the beginning of trust returning. That whisper is where healing starts. So if you feel seen right now, if something in your chest tightens as these words settle, you not be afraid. That is not exposure. It is recognition. I am not calling you out. I am calling you closer. I am saying, I see you running, and you don't have to anymore. I am saying, you are safe enough now to slow down. I am saying, you do not have to prove your strength by staying in motion. You have already proven it. And now, my child, strength will look different. It will look like pausing, like breathing, like letting yourself be found instead of always staying ahead. I am not asking you to explain your running. I am not demanding that you justify the distance. I am simply inviting you to notice this truth. Even while you ran, you were never alone. And even now, as your steps begin to slow, I am still right here, steady, present, and waiting with open arms. My beloved child, let me tell you the truth beneath your movement. The truth your heart has been carrying quietly, carefully, and often alone. You ran because you were hurt. Not once, not lightly, not in passing, but deeply, repeatedly, and in ways that reached places words could not touch. You did not wake up one day and decide to distance yourself from me. You did not plan to pull back from trust, from hope, from stillness. Pain trained you to move. Disappointment taught you to stay alert. Betrayal instructed your heart to never linger too long in one place. And when you reached out and felt silence where you expected reassurance, something inside you concluded that retreat was safer than risk. So you ran. You ran from expectation. You ran from intimacy. You ran from moments that felt too quiet because quiet reminded you of unanswered prayers. And all the while, you told yourself stories just to survive. I'm fine. I don't need anything. I'll deal with it later. But I saw what was really happening. I saw the fracture beneath the function, the ache beneath the activity, the wound beneath the willpower. You were not cold, you were cautious. You were not faithless. You were fatigued. You were not distant because you stopped believing. I know this well. You were distant because believing at once cost you something that hurt too much to lose again. And listen carefully now, because this matters more than you realize. I never minimized your pain. I never dismissed it as weakness. I never told you to get over it the way others did. Every tear you swallowed, every moment you told yourself to stay strong, every time you smiled while something inside you collapsed, I noticed. I recorded it. I held it. There were moments you felt embarrassed by how deeply something affected you. You wondered why it hurt you longer than it seemed to hurt others. But you feel deeply because you were created deeply. Your heart was never meant to be armored. It was meant to be alive. And yes, that aliveness made you vulnerable. It made you open. It made you capable of being wounded in ways others might not understand. So when you were hurt, by people, by outcomes, by delays, by silence, you did what many never see coming. You protected your tenderness by putting distance between yourself and the possibility of more pain. You did not run because you were careless. You ran because you were careful with a heart that had already been bruised by hope. And I want you to know this now, without shame rising in you. Your running did not disqualify you from my love. It revealed how much you valued what was broken. It revealed how much you were trying to preserve what little strength you had left. My child, let me say this plainly and powerfully so it settles where it needs to settle. Pain can make even the faithful retreat. Hurt can make even the brave hesitate. Wounds can make even the strongest soul pull back. And I am not offended by that. I am not shocked by that. I am compassionate toward that. I am the God who draws near to the broken-hearted, not the ones who hide their cracks well. I saw the moment you decided, I can't feel this again. I saw the moment you promised yourself you would not expect too much anymore. I saw the internal vows you made, never spoken aloud, vows like, I'll rely on myself. I won't hope too big. I won't trust too deep. And while those vows helped you survive, they were never meant to be permanent. They were bandages, not blueprints. They were shields, not homes. And now you are beginning to feel what happens when protection overstays its purpose. Your heart grows tired, your spirit grows heavy, and your soul longs for something it can't quite name. That longing is not weakness resurfacing. It is healing calling you back. It is me, gently undoing the knots pain tied inside you, one truth at a time. You ran because you were hurt, but you are slowing now because you are ready to be healed. My beloved child, hear this with the full weight of my heart behind it. I never chased you with anger. Not once. Not in your silence. Not in your distance. Not in your running. When you pulled away, I did not rise up in fury. When you questioned, I did not clench my jaw in disappointment. When you doubted, I did not keep a record. Human love often reacts with rejection when it feels rejected. Human patience wears thin. Human compassion has limits. But I am not human in my loving. I am not unstable in my presence. I am not volatile in my pursuit of you. I never chased you with raised voices or heavy hands. I chased you with mercy that moved quietly, steadily, and without accusation. While you expected judgment, I extended gentleness. While you braced for punishment, I prepared understanding. You thought distance would trigger my displeasure because that is what you learn from people. When you step back, they step away. But I do not love like those who failed you. I do not withdraw when you struggle. I draw nearer. I do not pursue to overpower you. I pursue to reassure you. And even when you ran so far you thought you were out of reach, my love never raised its voice to demand your return. It simply remained present enough to be found when you were ready to look back. There were moments you expected me to interrupt your running dramatically, to force you to stop, to confront you sharply. But I knew something you didn't yet know. Anger would only drive you further. Pressure would only harden what was already hurting. So I chose patience. I chose proximity without control. I chose presence without demand. I allowed you space not because I was distant, but because I was wise. I knew that the heart heals best when it is not cornered. I knew that love restores best when it is not forced. And all the while, my mercy stayed close, closer than your distractions, closer than your coping mechanisms, closer than your fear. I was in the quiet moments you tried to avoid. I was in the pauses you filled with noise. I was in the questions you pushed away because you didn't know how to answer them. You may have felt alone, but you were never unaccompanied. You may have felt unseen, but you were never unobserved. My pursuit was gentle because your heart needed gentleness, not correction. It needed safety, not sermons. It needed reassurance, not rebuke. So let this truth undo a lie you may still be carrying. I am not angry with you. I was never angry with you. I am not waiting for you to come back so I can list where you went wrong. I am waiting so I can remind you where you belong. My love has never been reactive. It has always been redemptive. I do not chase to shame. I chase to save. I do not pursue to control. I pursue to restore. And even now, as these words settle into you, my posture toward you is the same as it has always been: open, steady, patient. I am not standing behind you with frustration. I am standing before you with compassion. I am not counting how long you were gone. I am rejoicing that your heart is finally turning toward home. So if fear has told you that returning will be met with disappointment, let that fear be silenced now. My child, I never chased you with anger. I followed you with love that waited, watched, and believed you would one day stop running, not because you were forced to, but because you finally felt safe enough to be still. My beloved child, there came a time when your words grew tired, not because you had nothing to say, but because you had said everything you knew how to say and still felt unheard. You prayed, and prayed again, and then prayed in silence because language began to feel small compared to the weight you were carrying. So you stopped talking. You stopped explaining. You stopped asking. You stopped knocking because your knuckles ached from doors that did not seem to open. And in that quiet, you wondered if I mistook your silence for indifference, if I assumed you no longer cared, if I stepped back because you stopped reaching out. Hear me now with clarity and comfort. Your silence never confused me. Your quiet never distanced me. Even when you stopped talking, I listened more closely than ever. I listened to what your tears said when your mouth could not. I listened to what your breath said when prayer felt too heavy. I listened to what your body said when you lay awake at night, staring into the dark, replaying conversations and disappointments, wondering if you had done something wrong. Silence does not mean absence to me. Silence is still a language, and I understand it fluently. You learned, somewhere along the way, that silence often means withdrawal. When people stop responding, they are usually done. When voices go quiet, relationships usually fade. So you assumed the same pattern applied to me. But I am not limited by human patterns or restrained by human misunderstandings. When you went quiet, I leaned in. When you stopped forming sentences, I read your heart. When you could no longer articulate what hurt, I traced the pain back to its root. I heard the prayers you didn't finish. I heard the ones you started and abandoned halfway because discouragement cut them short. I heard the unspoken questions. Why did this happen? Did I miss something? Am I still seen? Questions you were afraid to ask because you feared the answers or feared hearing nothing at all. And even then, my listening did not waver. I was not waiting for eloquence. I was not grading your faith by how well you expressed it. I was attending to the posture of your heart, not the polish of your words. You thought talking less meant being less connected, but in truth, it revealed how deeply you were processing something sacred. And let me tell you something tender and true. Some of the most honest prayers are wordless. Grunts, sighs, pauses, silent endurance. These are not signs of spiritual failure. They are signs of spiritual depth. When your faith matured past rehearsed phrases and familiar requests, it entered a quieter place, a place where trust is tested not by speech but by staying. You stayed. Even in silence, you stayed. You did not curse me. You did not turn bitter. You simply grew quiet, and quiet is not the enemy of intimacy. Noise often hides pain. Silence reveals it. And I did not turn away from what was revealed. I sat with you in it. I stayed through the unanswered moments. I stayed through the seasons where you felt foolish for hoping. I stayed through the long stretches where nothing seemed to move. And now, as your heart begins to speak again, maybe slowly, maybe cautiously, I want you to know you never lost connection with me. You were heard even when you said nothing. You were held even when you stopped asking. You were known even when you could not explain yourself. I listened then. I am listening now. I will always listen, especially when your voice is tired. My beloved child, this is where the ache grew sharpest, where the misunderstanding cut deepest. You thought I left. You didn't come to that conclusion suddenly. It formed slowly, quietly, like fog rolling in when no one is paying attention. You looked around at circumstances that did not change. You replayed prayers that did not seem answered. You noticed how long it had been since you last felt my nearness in a way you could name. And without realizing it, a thought settled into your heart. Maybe he moved on. Maybe I missed him. Maybe I waited too long. That thought hurt more than you admit, because it didn't just question my presence, it questioned your worth. You wondered if something about you made me withdraw, if your doubts disappointed me, if your running exhausted me, if your silence offended me. And so you filled in the gap with fear, because unanswered space often invites the loudest lies. But hear me now, with authority wrapped in tenderness. I never left. Not for a moment. Not for a breath. Not for a season. I stayed when the feelings faded. I stayed when the signs felt subtle. I stayed when my work was happening beneath the surface instead of in front of your eyes. You mistook my quietness for distance, but quietness is not absence, it is focus. There were things forming in you that noise would have disrupted. There were strengths being built that constant reassurance would have weakened. There were roots going deeper than your emotions could feel. And while you were scanning the horizon for evidence of me, I was right beside you, steady and unmoved, guarding what was becoming inside you. I stayed when others walked away. I stayed when your own confidence wavered. I stayed when you doubted your discernment. I stayed when hope felt naive. I stayed when time stretched longer than you expected. I stayed when the ache returned without warning. I stayed when you stopped expecting me to. And the truth is this: I am not drawn to you by your certainty. I am committed to you by my nature. I do not come and go based on your emotional clarity. I remain because remaining is who I am. My child, I stayed in ways you did not recognize at the time. I stayed in restraint, keeping certain doors closed so they would not destroy you. I stayed in protection, shielding you from outcomes you were not ready to carry. I stayed in redirection, letting some paths dissolve so better ones could form. I stayed in the quiet conviction that nudged you when something wasn't right. I stayed in the peace that surprised you in moments that should have broken you. I stayed in the strength that showed up when you thought you had none left. You thought survival was self-made, but survival was sustained. You thought endurance was accidental, but it was intentional. You are still here because I stayed. And now that your eyes are adjusting, now that your heart is slowing enough to notice, I want you to reinterpret your story. What you called abandonment was actually accompaniment. What you called silence was actually presence without spectacle. What you called distance was actually me standing so close you couldn't see me clearly. I never left, my child. I stayed. And I am still here, ready to keep walking with you, not from behind, not far ahead, but right beside you, exactly where I have always been. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with clarity that cuts through every lie fear ever whispered to you. Your running did not scare me away. Not your distance. Not your avoidance. Not your resistance. Not your seasons of ignoring what you felt stirring inside. You have lived under the weight of a false belief that if you pulled back too far, doubted too deeply, or delayed too long, I would eventually retreat, offended, disappointed, or tired of waiting. That belief did not come from me. It came from human love that gave up when things became inconvenient. It came from relationships where presence with conditional and patience had limits. But I am not fragile. I am not intimidated by your struggle. I am not threatened by your questions. I am not startled by your fear. You did not shock me with your running. You did not exhaust me with your hesitation. You did not overwhelm me with your wounds. I am steady where others were unstable. I am faithful where others failed. I am constant where others grew cold. And even when you believed your running made you unlovable, I remained unmoved in my love for you. You ran expecting consequences, but you encountered mercy. You ran expecting silence, but you were surrounded by restraint, holy restraint, that kept your life from unraveling completely. You ran expecting distance, but you were held by an unseen closeness that refused to let you fall too far, too fast, too hard. There were moments you should have collapsed under the weight you were carrying, moments you should have made choices that destroyed you, moments where despair should have swallowed you whole. But something intervened. Something slowed you. Something stopped you just short of the edge. That something was me. Not because you asked. Not because you deserved it. But because my covenant with you is not dependent on your consistency. I am not like those who leave when trust is tested. I do not retreat when love is strained. I stay. I steady. I sustain. And even when you ran with the expectation that I would finally let go, my grit never loosened. My child, understand this deeply. Love that is scared away is not love at all. What you experienced from others was tolerance, convenience, proximity, but not covenant. Covenant love does not flee when it is challenged. Covenant love does not vanish when it is questioned. Covenant love does not abandon when it is misunderstood. And I am a God of covenant. When you ran, I did not feel rejected. I felt compassion. I did not feel threatened. I felt protective. I did not feel offended. I felt determined. Determined to keep you. Determined to preserve your life. Determined to guard your future even while you were unsure you wanted one. Your running revealed pain, not rebellion. It revealed exhaustion, not indifference. And I respond to pain with presence, not punishment. I respond to exhaustion with rest, not rejection. You were afraid that if you ran long enough, you would outrun my patience. But my patience is not measured in human time. It is rooted in eternal commitment. I am not counting how long you were gone. I'm counting how faithfully I stayed. So let this truth settle into the deepest part of you now. Nothing about your running disqualified you. Nothing about your hesitation canceled my calling. Nothing about your silence erased my promises. You did not scare me away. You revealed where healing was needed. And I stayed close enough to ensure that healing would one day be possible. Even now, as you read this, my presence is not tentative. It is not cautious. It is not conditional. I am not testing whether you will run again before I commit. I am already committed. I have always been. You are not walking back toward a God who barely tolerates you. You are awakening to a God who never left. And the same love that stayed while you ran is the love that will now teach you how to rest. My beloved child, if you take nothing else with you from this moment, take this truth and hold it gently, but firmly. You were trying to survive, not to rebel, not to resist me, not to abandon truth. You were trying to survive pain that overwhelmed your capacity, disappointment that outpaced your understanding, and silence that stretched longer than your strength. Survival does not always look noble. Sometimes it looks like withdrawal. Sometimes it looks like numbing. Sometimes it looks like staying busy so you don't have to feel. Sometimes it looks like running because standing still would mean collapsing. And I never mistook your survival instincts for spiritual failure. I never labeled your coping as lack of faith. I never confused your exhaustion with disobedience. I saw the context. I saw the weight. I saw how much you were carrying with so little support. You adapted because you had to. You hardened in places because softness felt dangerous. You pulled back because exposure felt unbearable. And through it all, I did not stand over you demanding more. I stood beside you supplying what you lacked. You survived nights you never thought you would make it through. You survived conversations that shattered your expectations. You survived waiting seasons that felt endless. You survived hoping and being disappointed again and again. And you did not survive because you were strong enough on your own. You survived because I was breathing life into you when you had none left to generate. I was sustaining your mind when it wanted to give up. I was stabilizing your heart when it threatened to collapse inward. Survival was not evidence of distance from me. It was evidence of my intervention. There were days you functioned on fumes and wondered how you were still standing. There were moments you should have quit entirely but didn't know why you kept going. That was not accident. That was not coincidence. That was grace in motion. Grace that carried you when you could not carry yourself. Grace that shielded you when you were exposed. Grace that stayed quiet so you would not feel overwhelmed by its weight. My child, survival was never meant to be your final destination. It was a bridge. A necessary one. A holy one. A temporary one. You adapted to endure. But now I am inviting you to heal. You built walls to survive. But now I am offering safety to rest. You learned to function without feeling. But now I am teaching you how to feel without fear. Survival kept you alive, but it cannot make you whole. And I am not disappointed in how you survived. I am proud that you endured. I honor the resilience it took to keep breathing when life felt unbearable. But hear me clearly now. You do not have to live in survival mode anymore. The danger that required constant vigilance has passed. The season that demanded numbness is ending. You are not being asked to undo everything at once. You are being invited to exhale, to loosen your grip, to let me hold what you have been gripping so tightly for so long. So if your heart feels tender right now, that is not weakness, it is thawing. If your emotions feel closer to the surface, that is not regression, it is restoration. If you feel tired in a new way, it is not because you are failing. It is because your body and soul finally sense that they are safe enough to rest. You were trying to survive, and you did. Now, my child, let me teach you how to live again. Not on edge, not in fear, not in constant motion, but anchored, held, and at peace. When you are ready, I will continue with message point 8. My beloved child, even while your feet kept moving forward, your heart kept turning around. You did not notice it at first, because survival trains the body to move and the soul to suppress. But I saw it clearly. I saw the pauses you pretended were nothing. I saw the moments you slowed just enough to breathe, just enough to remember, just enough to wonder if I was still there. You called it nostalgia. You called it weakness. You called it distraction. But it was none of those things. It was longing. It was memory stirring. It was truth refusing to stay buried. You were running, yes, but you were also looking back. Back toward moments when your heart felt safe. Back toward a presence that once steadied you. Back toward a love that did not demand perfection. And every time you glanced over your shoulder, something inside you whispered, "What if he's still there?" That whisper did not come from fear. It came from hope that refused to die, even when you tried to silence it. I placed that whisper there. I guarded it. I sustained it through your running so that when the time was right, it would rise again and guide you home. You tried to outrun that looking back. You filled your life with motion, more noise, more plans, more responsibilities, because stillness made the memories louder. And those memories were dangerous, not because they hurt, but because they reminded you of what intimacy felt like. They reminded you that your soul had once rested. They reminded you that faith had once been simple before it became complicated by disappointment. And you feared that if you looked back too long, your heart would break open again. So you told yourself stories. I've moved on. I don't need that anymore. That season is over. But your heart told a different story. It tugged. It paused. It ached quietly. And I watched every one of those moments with tenderness, not accusation. I did not say, "Why are you still looking back?" I said, "Thank you for remembering." Because memory is not regression. It is recognition. It is the soul recalling what is true when circumstances try to redefine reality. You were not weak for looking back. You were awakening. My child, the reason you kept looking back is because something in you knew I had not moved. You sensed it even when you couldn't articulate it. You felt it in the way peace tried to surface unexpectedly. You felt it in the way certain words, songs, or quiet moments stirred something deep and familiar. You felt it in the ache that did not push you away but pulled you inward. That pull was me. I was not dragging you. I was not demanding you return. I was reminding you of who you are and where you belong. And I did it gently, patiently, persistently, like a lighthouse that does not chase ships but remains lit so the lost can find their way. Every time you looked back, I stayed visible enough to be found, but not forceful enough to overwhelm you. Because love that heals does not coerce. It invites. So now, my child, as you feel yourself slowing, as you notice your heart turning more fully toward me, do not be ashamed of the times you glanced back in secret. Those glances were sacred. They were the beginning of return long before your feet stopped running. They were the first cracks in the armor you built to survive. They were evidence that your heart was still alive, still responsive, still capable of longing for truth. You were never as far gone as you thought. You were already turning before you realized it. And now, as your gaze settles not behind you but toward me, I want you to know this. Every time you looked back, I was there. Still steady, still open, still waiting, not impatiently, not resentfully, but with joy that whispered, "They are coming home." My child, as you realize you were already turning back toward me, understand this. Your return is not only for you. I have kept this word alive because others are still running, still afraid, still wondering if I remain. When you give, you place oil in the lamp so my light reaches them before the darkness convinces them to stop looking back. I am sowing through you now, and what you release becomes a harvest of hope for souls you may never meet. I say to you, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing, for this is a moment I have appointed. This is not a donation. It is a seed placed into living ground. I will guard what you give and multiply what you release with my hand upon it. So do not hesitate. Support this work now through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and let my word keep calling my children home. My beloved child, hear me clearly now, because this truth must cut through the deepest fear you have carried. I did not forget your name. Not when you doubted. Not when you ran. Not when you went quiet. Not when you felt interchangeable, replaceable, overlooked, or forgotten. People forgot you. Circumstances erase your efforts. Seasons moved on without acknowledging what you endured. But I never forgot your name. I did not reduce you to your mistakes. I did not summarize you by your worst moments. I did not label you by your distance. Your name never slipped from my lips. Your identity never blurred in my sight. You are not a number to me. You are not a face. You are not an afterthought. I know you personally, precisely, intimately. I know the sound of your breath when you are anxious. I know the tone of your silence when you are disappointed. I know the way your heart tightens when you feel unseen. And through it all, I have called you by name, not the name fear gave you, not the name failure whispered to you, but the name I spoke with purpose before you ever struggled. You feared that time had erased you, that your absence had made you forgettable, that your running had replaced you with others who stayed closer, prayed louder, believed stronger. But my kingdom is not built on competition, and my love is not rationed by proximity. I do not forget those who wander. I do not replace those who struggle. I do not move on from those who are hurting. When you pulled back, you thought I would turn my attention elsewhere. But attention does not work that way with me. My gaze is not limited. My care is not divided. I can hold the universe together and still hold your name close. I remembered you in your silence. I remembered you when you felt invisible. I remembered you when your own confidence in who you were began to fade. Even when you questioned your place, I never questioned your belonging. My child, there is power in being named. Names anchor identity. They remind the soul that it is known. And while others may have called you too much, too sensitive, too slow, too late, I have always called you mine. I have called you beloved. I have called you chosen. I have called you worthy of patience, worthy of care, worthy of time. And even when you stopped calling on me, I kept calling on you, quietly, consistently, faithfully, until your heart was ready to respond again. There's why something stirred when you heard these words. That is why your chest tightened when you read this point. That is why tears feel close even if you don't fully understand why. Because being remembered touches places nothing else can reach. It restores dignity. It revives hope. It heals the wound of invisibility. So let me say your name now, not aloud, but into the core of who you are. Let it remind you that you have never been misplaced. Let it silence the lie that you were forgotten. Let it steady you in this moment of return. You are not coming back to a God who barely recognizes you. You are returning to a Father who has always known exactly who you are, exactly where you've been, and exactly what you need next. I did not forget your name, my child. I have been speaking it with love all along. My beloved child, this is the lie I must break with authority and tenderness at the same time, because it has wrapped itself tightly around your heart. You are not too far gone. Not spiritually. Not emotionally. Not relationally. Not beyond repair. Not beyond return. Distance has a way of exaggerating itself, doesn't it? The longer you feel away, the louder the voice becomes that says, "It's been too long. You drifted too far. You waited too late." That voice did not come from me. It came from fear rehearsing itself until it sounded like truth. It came from shame repeating the same sentence until your soul accepted it as fact. And I am speaking now to interrupt that cycle. You measure distance by time, by effort, by behavior, by consistency. I measure distance differently. I measure it by willingness. I measure it by openness. I measure it by a heart that is still responsive, still listening, still turning, even if slowly. And the very fact that you are here, reading these words, feeling this stirring, means you are not far at all. You are closer than you think. You always have been. You assume that distance accumulates like debt, that the longer you stayed away, the harder it would be to return. But my grace does not compound interest. It does not grow colder with time. It does not become reluctant the longer you hesitate. Grace remains ready. Mercy remains near. Love remains available. You thought you crossed an invisible line somewhere. One too many doubts, one too many delays, one too many missed moments, and that now you were on the outside looking in. But I do not draw lines like that. I do not close doors because someone struggled. I do not lock hearts out because they wandered. You are not too far gone. You are simply tired from carrying a belief that was never true. And that belief has weighed on you heavier than the distance itself. My child, let me tell you something with repetition, because repetition roots truth where lies once lived. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not beyond restoration. Say it again in your spirit. Not too far gone. Every step you thought took you further away has actually been drawing you toward this moment of clarity. Even your wandering taught you what your soul cannot live without. Even your distance sharpened your hunger for what is real. You did not waste the season you feared ruined you. I can redeem what you thought was lost. I can restore what you believed was damaged beyond repair. I can bring life back into places you assumed were permanently dormant. Nothing in your story has surprised me. Nothing has undone my plans. Nothing has exceeded my reach. So let the weight of that fear begin to loosen now. Let the exaggeration of distance collapse under the truth of my nearness. Let the lie lose its grip. You are not standing on the edge of no return. You are standing at the threshold of coming home. And home is not far. It never was. My beloved child, this truth may undo you gently, but let it. I stayed where you left me. Not because I was up. Not because I could not move. But because love waits without relocating its heart. You thought you would have to find me somewhere new, some higher level of faith, some deeper spiritual place, some cleaner, more disciplined version of yourself. But I did not move the place where we last met. I did not abandon that sacred ground just because you walked away from it. I stayed there, knowing that one day your heart would remember the way back. I stayed there, not frozen in time, but faithful in posture. Faithful to who I am. Faithful to who you were. Faithful to what we shared before fear interrupted it. You thought return would require rediscovery, but it only requires recognition. I am not hidden. I am not distant. I am exactly where you last felt me, waiting not impatiently, but expectantly. You assumed I would relocate my presence to punish your absence. That I would make you search harder, strive longer, work more to find me again. But I am not interested in exhausting you. I am interested in restoring you. I stayed where you left me because I knew you would need familiarity, not complexity, when you came back. I knew your heart would already be tender, already cautious, already unsure. So I did not make the path back confusing. I did not scatter breadcrumbs. I did not play hide and seek with your healing. I stayed steady, recognizable, safe. So when your heart finally slowed enough to remember, it would not panic. It would not wonder if it had imagined our connection. It would know, this is him. This is where I belong. My child, this is why when you think back to that moment, when faith felt simpler, when trust felt natural, when my presence felt near, your chest tightens. That is not regret. That is resonance. That is your spirit recognizing truth. And I stayed there not as a test, not as a trial, but as a promise kept. A promise that says, I will not move just because you are afraid. I will not disappear just because you struggle. I will not withdraw just because you need time. I stayed where you left me so your return would not feel like starting over, but like picking up where we paused. You are not rebuilding from nothing. You are resuming from love. So now, as you feel yourself stepping closer, let yourself come without fear of rejection. Let yourself approach without rehearsing explanations. I am not asking why you left. I am saying, I'm glad you're here. I stayed where you left me, my child. And I will stay as we move forward together, this time not in running, not in fear, but in rest, in trust, and in truth. My beloved child, I saw the weight you carried alone, and I want you to understand something before anything else settles in your heart. You were never meant to carry it by yourself. Yet you did. Day after day, night after night. You carried expectations that were too heavy, responsibilities that were not yours, emotions you had no language for, and questions that echoed without answers. You learned how to hold it all together in public while unraveling in private. You learned how to smile convincingly, how to nod politely, how to keep going even when your soul begged for rest. And because no one else seemed to notice the strain, you told yourself it must be your job to manage it. So you shouldered the burden quietly. You did not want to be a problem. You did not want to disappoint anyone. You did not want to explain pain that even you struggled to understand. And I watched you do it, not from a distance, not passively, not indifferently, but with a father's ache that longs to lift what his child insists on carrying. I saw the moments when the weight pressed so hard on your chest that breathing felt like work. I saw the fatigue that sleep did not cure. I saw the way your thoughts circled the same fears over and over, looking for a way out and finding none. I saw how you minimized your own pain by telling yourself others had it worse. I saw how you delayed asking for help because you believed strength meant silence. But silence was not strength. It was survival. And survival can become lonely when carried too long. You thought you were being responsible by holding it all together. You thought you were being mature by not needing anyone. But what you were really doing was protecting others from the truth of how heavy things had become inside you. And I want you to hear this clearly now. I never admired your suffering. I never expected you to endure alone. I never asked you to be self-sufficient in the places where you needed grace. My child, the weight you carried alone shaped you, yes, but it also exhausted you. They trained your nervous system to stay alert. It taught your heart to brace instead of rest. They made peace feel unfamiliar and stillness feel unsafe. And yet, even while you carried it, I was supporting you in ways you did not see. I was reinforcing your strength when it threatened to collapse. I was softening the impact of what should have broken you. I was shortening the reach of despair so it could not fully consume you. You thought you were barely surviving by your own effort, but you were being sustained by my presence the entire time. Every step you took under that weight was accompanied. Every tear you swallowed was seen. Every silent cry was heard. You were never as alone as you felt, even when loneliness convinced you otherwise. Now, my beloved, hear this invitation gently, but firmly. You do not have to carry it alone anymore. The season of solitary endurance is ending. The chapter where you prove your strength by suffering quietly is closing. I am not asking you to explain everything. I am not demanding that you unload it all at once. I am simply saying, let me take some of the weight. Let me hold the fears that keep you awake. Let me shoulder the regrets you replay. Let me carry the questions that exhaust your mind. You were never meant to be your own savior. You were never designed to be your own refuge. You were created to be held, guided, and sustained. And now, as you slow down enough to feel how heavy it has been, let that awareness not shame you, Let it free you. You carried it because you had to. You can release it now because you are safe. My beloved child, this truth may surprise you, but it will also heal you if you let it. Even when you ran from me, you were running toward healing. Not intentionally, not consciously, but inevitably. Because I am the source of healing, and even your avoidance could not erase your hunger for wholeness. You thought you were escaping pain, escaping disappointment, escaping vulnerability. But beneath every step away was a deeper desire to feel better, to feel lighter, to feel whole again. You did not run because you wanted destruction. You ran because you wanted relief. And while your methods were imperfect, your motive was not wrong. I saw the intention beneath the action. I saw the longing beneath the fear. I saw the desire for peace beneath the resistance to trust. And I did not condemn that desire. I honored it. You sought healing in motion because stillness felt dangerous. You sought relief in distraction because quiet made the ache louder. You sought strength in independence because dependence had once disappointed you. And though none of these paths could fully heal you, they kept you alive long enough to reach this moment. They were incomplete solutions, yes, but they were attempts. And I do not despise attempts. I redeem them. I use them. I weave them into the story even when they are messy. Even when you thought you were moving away from me, you were moving away from what hurt you, and that movement mattered. It kept despair from swallowing you. It kept hopelessness from settling permanently. It kept your heart searching, even if it did not yet know what it was searching for. My child, healing is rarely a straight line. It is often a winding path with detours, pauses, and wrong turns that still lead forward. You judge yourself harshly for how you cope. You believe that if you had been stronger, more faithful, more disciplined, you would not have needed to run. But hear me now. Healing does not begin with perfection. It begins with honesty. And your running was an honest response to pain you did not yet know how to process. I was not absent from that process. I was present within it, guiding gently, restraining quietly, protecting fiercely. Even when you chose paths I did not design as permanent, I used them as bridges. Bridges that brought you here. Bridges that taught you what does not heal so you could recognize what does. So now, my beloved, let go of the shame attached to your journey. Let go of the belief that healing only counts if it looks holy from the outside. I have been at work in you longer than you realize. Every step that kept you alive mattered. Every instinct that sought relief mattered. Every moment you chose not to give up mattered. You did not fail your way into this moment. You survived your way here. And now, you no longer have to run toward healing indirectly. You can come directly. You can stop striving. You can stop searching. You can stop running. Healing is not ahead of you somewhere far away. It is here. It is now. It is me, standing before you, inviting you to rest in the very presence you were always seeking. My beloved child, even when you convinced yourself you had nowhere safe to land, I never stopped being your refuge. You may not have run to me, but you never escaped from me. Refuge does not disappear when it is not named. Shelter does not collapse when someone forgets where it is. And I remain unchanged, unmoved, unthreatened, while you searched for safety everywhere else. You sought it in movement, in independence, in emotional distance, in staying busy enough not to feel. You tried to build refuge out of control, routine, self-reliance. But those structures trembled when the storms came. They leaked when the nights grew long. They failed you when your strength ran out. And still, I did not say I told you so. I waited. Because I knew something you did not yet know. When every false refuge falls apart, the soul finally remembers the true one. And that remembering is not failure, it is awakening. You thought refuge meant certainty. You thought it meant answers, clarity, immediate relief. But refuge is not the absence of storms. It is the presence of safety within them. I was your refuge when you didn't break under pressure you shouldn't have survived. I was your refuge when fear surged but did not take over. I was your refuge when your thoughts spiraled but your life remained intact. I was your refuge when despair knocked but did not move in. You called it love. You called it resilience. You called it coincidence. But it was covering. It was shelter. It was me. And even when you resisted resting in me, I still absorbed the impact of what hit you. I still softened the blows you never saw coming. I still limited what the darkness could do. Refuge is not always felt, but it is always effective. My child, this is where your exhaustion has been coming from. You have been trying to live without refuge, and the soul was never designed for that. The heart was never meant to be self-sheltering. You have been bracing instead of resting, guarding instead of breathing, surviving instead of dwelling. And survival has a sound, sharp, short, restless. But refuge has a different sound. It is slower. Zavu. Deeper. It is the sound of exhale after long strain. And now, you are beginning to hear it again. That quiet longing you feel is not weakness returning. It is rest calling you home. I am not asking you to leap into trust. I am inviting you to lean. Lean into the truth that you do not have to be on guard anymore. Lean into the safety that never left. Lean into the refuge that remained even when you forgot its name. So come, not dramatically, not perfectly, not with rehearsed faith, but honestly. Come tired. Come guarded. Come à jour. Refuge does not require strength. It provides it. Refuge does not demand explanation. It offers rest. Refuge does not scold the storm-worn. It covers them. I have never stopped being your refuge, my child. And now that you are no longer running, you can finally feel the shelter that has been around you all along. My beloved child, your exhaustion is not a flaw, it is a signal. A sacred one. A warning light on the dashboard of your soul saying, this was never meant to be done alone. You are not tired because you are weak. You are tired because you have been strong for too long without support. You have been carrying what should have been shared. You have been navigating storms without rest stops. You have been making decisions under pressure without relief. And somewhere deep inside, you learned to normalize that strain. You told yourself, this is just life. But it is not. It is life without accompaniment. And no soul thrives that way for long. You were created for partnership, for presence, for communion. You were never designed to outrun pain by yourself. You were never intended to shoulder existence solo. And the weariness you feel now is not failure catching up to you. It is truth finally getting your attention. You have been running with clenched fists and shallow breaths, telling yourself you just needed to push a little longer. But running alone always leads to collapse. Even the strongest legs give out when there is no water, no shade, no one pacing beside them. And I have been beside you the entire time, matching your pace, carrying your load when it became unbearable, steadying you when your steps faltered. But you did not let yourself lean. You did not let yourself slow. You did not let yourself be accompanied, because somewhere you learned that dependence was dangerous. That needing someone led to disappointment. That leaning led to folly. But I am not someone who disappears when leaned on. I am not someone who resents your need. I am not someone who grows tired of walking with you. And now, your exhaustion is inviting you into a new way of living. Not faster, not harder, but together. My child, this is where the running ends. Not because you are forced to stop, but because you finally understand you do not have to keep going this way. You do not have to outrun your fears. You do not have to prove your endurance. You do not have to stay ahead of pain. You can walk now. Slowly. Honestly. With me. Let your pace change. Let your breathing deepen. Let your shoulders drop. This is not the end of your strength. It is the beginning of shared strength. Strength that flows instead of strains. Strength that rests instead of this. Strength that comes from presence, not pressure. So hear me clearly as we move forward together. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not weak. You are responding to the truth that no one was meant to run alone. And I am here, not to rush you, not to push you, not to test you, but to walk with you at a pace that heals. When you are ready, I will continue with message point 16. My beloved child, let me remove a fear that has been sitting quietly at the edge of your heart, shaping how close you allow yourself to come. I am not waiting to scold you. You have imagined this moment wrong. You pictured me with crossed arms, a heavy sigh, a list of explanations you would owe me if you ever stopped running. You rehearsed apologies you were never asked to make. You anticipated disappointment because disappointment is what you learn to expect when you return to people after distance. But I am not standing here with correction on my tongue and frustration in my eyes. I am standing here with relief. Relief that you slowed down. Relief that you listened. Relief that you did not disappear entirely. I am not interested in tallying your absences. I am interested in restoring your presence. And presence does not begin with scolding. It begins with safety. You learned early that returning often came with consequences. A distance had to be paid for. That love became conditional once trust was strained. So you assumed the same rule applied here. You thought coming back would reopen old wounds, invite interrogation, or expose you to judgment. That fear kept you hesitating longer than necessary. But listen carefully now. I do not heal by humiliation. I do not restore by reprimand. I do not welcome by wounding. My correction, when it comes, is gentle and purposeful. But this moment is not about correction. This moment is about reunion, about reorientation, about relief. You are not standing before an offended God. You are standing before a Father who understands why you left and is simply grateful you are here now. I am not asking, where have you been? I am saying, I see you. I am not demanding explanations. I am offering rest. My child, scolding would only reinforce the lie that you must earn your way back. And you do not. You never did. I am not waiting for you to grovel. I am waiting for you to exhale. To let go of the defensive posture you learned in places where love was fragile. To realize that you do not have to brace for impact here. There is no ambush waiting. There is no punishment disguised as conversation. There is only grace, steady, settled, sufficient. And as you let that truth sink in, you may feel something unfamiliar, relief without suspicion, peace without strings, acceptance without interrogation. That is what safety feels like. That is what home feels like. And that is what I am offering you now. My beloved, now that you know you stand before me without fear, let me invite you into partnership, not obligation. I am using this message to create safe places for wounded hearts to return, and your giving becomes shelter for those still exposed. When you give, you are not paying for grace, you are extending it. like manna that appears where strength has failed. I am the Lord who supplies seed to the sower, and I am speaking that promise to you now, alive and present. This moment is holy, not casual. It is an open door I have placed before you. What you release here will return with favor, protection, and peace resting on your house. Do not delay. Stand with me now and support this mission through Super Thanks, channel membership, or PayPal. My beloved child, hear this invitation as clearly as you can, because it will challenge everything fear taught you. Come back without explaining. You have spent so much time crafting reasons, justifications, timelines, trying to make your return make sense, trying to make it acceptable, trying to make it palatable. You thought if you could explain yourself well enough, you would be received more gently. But you do not need a defense here. You do not need a narrative. You do not need to convince me that your pain was real or your absence was justified. I already know. Explanations are for places where understanding is limited. My understanding is not. You do not need the right words. You only need honesty. And honesty sometimes sounds like nothing more than a quiet, "I'm here." You learned to explain yourself because misunderstanding cost you. Silence was misread. Pauses were punny. Vulnerability was used against you. So you adapted by over-communicating, over-clarifying, over-defending. But here, you are safe to be simple. You can come tired without narrating your exhaustion. You can come wounded without recounting every detail. You can come unsure without presenting a plan. I am not grading your return. I am receiving your heart. And hearts do not need explanations to be welcomed. They need space to settle. They need permission to be as they are. They need time to remember how to trust. So come back without explaining why you ran. Come back without explaining why it took so long. Come back without explaining what broke you or how you survive. Let your presence speak for itself. Let your willingness be enough. Let your nearness be the conversation. There will be time later for understanding, for healing, for growth. But this moment is about arrival, about letting yourself be here without armor, without rehearsal, without fear of being misunderstood. I am not confused by your silence. I am not fattened by your questions. I am not unsettled by your pace. I am simply glad you came. My child, returning without explanation is an act of trust. It says, I believe I am safe enough to be received as I am. And you are. So step closer. Not with speeches prepared, not with apologies polished, but with a heart that is finally willing to stop running. I am here. Arms open. Voice gentle. Presence steady. Come back. You are already welcome. My beloved child, I know what you're afraid of, and you don't have to say it out loud for me to understand it. Fear has learned your name, your patterns, your history. It knows where to whisper and when. It knows how to sound reasonable. You are afraid that if you trust again, it will hurt again. Afraid that if you open your heart, it will be disappointed again. Afraid that if you hope, the fall will be worse than before. So you learn to keep one foot back, one hand on the door, one eye scanning for escape. You learn to protect yourself with distance, with caution, with controlled expectations. And that fear did not come from nowhere. It was taught to you by moments that broke trust, by promises that failed, by silence that lingered too long. I am not dismissing that fear. I am naming it, because named fear loses its power to rule. I know the fear that says, what if I believe again and nothing changes? I know the fear that says, what if I come close and I'm exposed? I know the fear that says, what if I'm seen fully and still not chosen? These fears have lived with you for a long time. They have shaped your decisions. They have slowed your steps. They have convinced you that safety means distance. And I have watched all of it with compassion, not condemnation. My child, fear has been loud because it has been trying to keep you alive. It learned its voice in places where vulnerability was punished and hope felt expensive. But fear is a poor architect for the future. It can guard the past, but it cannot build what is new. It can warn, but it cannot heal. And now, fear is losing its authority, not because you forced it out, but because truth is entering in. Here is the contrast fear never tells you. Staying guarded hurts too. Staying distant costs you too. Staying close keeps pain out, yes, but it also keeps life out. Fear promised protection, but delivered isolation. Fear promised control, but produced exhaustion. And I am speaking now to draw a clear line between caution and captivity. You have been cautious long enough. You do not have to be captive anymore. I am not asking you to leap blindly into trust. I am asking you to take one honest step toward me with the fear you carry, not without it. Bring it with you. Let it be seen. Let it be disarmed by love that does not flinch. Listen closely now, because this is where fear begins to loosen. I am not like what hurt you. I am not unpredictable. I am not absent. I am not fragile. I am not temporary. I do not invite you close only to withdraw when it matters most. When you come near, I stay near. When you tremble, I steady you. When you doubt, I do not disappear. Fear tells you to brace. I tell you to breathe. Fear tells you to retreat. I tell you to rest. Fear tells you the risk is too great. I tell you the cost of staying hidden is greater. I know what you're afraid of, my child, and I am patient with it. But I will not let fear be your final voice. I am here to replace it with truth spoken gently, repeatedly, persistently, until your heart believes it again. My beloved child, after everything you have seen, everything you have endured, everything you have learned the hard way, hear this truth settle deep into you. I am still safe. Not occasionally safe. Not conditionally safe. Still safe. Safe when you are strong. Safe when you are unsure. Safe when your faith feels steady and when it feels fragile. You have learned to associate closeness with risk, intimacy with loss, dependence with disappointment. And so safety became something you stop expecting from anyone, even me. But I have not changed. My character has not shifted with your seasons. My love has not eroded with time. My presence has not become unstable because you struggle. I am still the same refuge I have always been. Still trustworthy. Still gentle. Still faithful. Still near. And I need you to hear that word, still, because it speaks to continuity when your life has felt fractured. Safety is not loud. It does not rush you. It does not demand proof. Safety does not say, hurry up and heal. It says, take your time. I am not going anywhere. Safety does not punish hesitation. It accommodates it. Safety does not pressure your pace. It matches it. That is how you know you are safe with me. I am not pulling you forward by force. I am walking beside you with patience. I am not testing your trust. I am earning it again, moment by moment, truth by truth. You may still feel guarded. That is okay. Guarded hearts learn safety slowly. And I am not offended by the slowness. I am committed to it. I will prove my safety not with promises alone, but with presence that remains when fear expects abandonment. My child, safety is revealed in repetition. Inconsistency. In contrast, others left when things became complicated. I stayed. Others grew distant when you struggled. I drew nearer. Others required performance. I offered presence. Others demanded answers. I provided rest. This pattern matters. Let it register. Let it rewire what fear taught you. I am not safe because nothing bad ever happens. I am safe because nothing bad can separate you from me. Storms may come, but you will not face them alone. Questions may rise, but you will not be dismissed for asking them. Doubts may surface, but you will not be shamed for feeling them. That is safety, and it has been here the whole time, waiting for your nervous system to catch up with the truth your spirit already knows. So now, my beloved, let your shoulders drop a little. Let your breath slow. Let your heart test this truth gently, without pressure. You do not have to decide everything today. You do not have to trust perfectly. You only have to notice this. You are not being rushed, rejected, or judged. You are being held. I am still safe. Safe enough to rest. Safe enough to return. Safe enough to stay. When you are ready, I will continue with message point 20. My beloved child, let me speak directly to the striving that has lived quietly inside you for far too long. You don't have to prove anything. Not to me. Not about your faith. Not about your worth. Not about how much you've grown or how sorry you are or how committed you plan to be this time. Proof has exhausted you. Performance has worn you thin. Measuring yourself has drained the joy out of your spirit. You learned early that love was often transactional, that acceptance followed achievement, that closeness followed compliance, that belonging followed effort. So you carried that mindset into your relationship with me without realizing it. You thought returning meant demonstrating improvement. You thought staying meant maintaining momentum. You thought being loved meant being consistent, productive, disciplined, impressive. And that belief has quietly kept you on edge, always wondering if you were doing enough, being enough, showing enough change to deserve my nearness. Hear me now, and let this truth confront that lie. I have never asked you to earn what I freely give. You have been living as though your value fluctuates with your behavior, as though one weak moment could undo everything, as though you are constantly under review. That is not freedom. That is fear dressed up as responsibility. And fear has made you tired. It has made you hyper-aware of your flaws and blind to my grace. You thought proving yourself would keep you safe, but it has kept you restless instead. You thought effort would secure my love, but it only distracted you from receiving it. My love is not fragile. It does not need reinforcement. It does not require upkeep. It is not impressed by your discipline or disappointed by your humanity. I am not waiting for you to get it right before I draw near. I am drawing near so you can finally rest from trying to get it right. My child, proof is the language of insecurity, not love. And I do not relate to you from insecurity. I relate to you from covenant. Covenant says, you are mine even when you struggle. Covenant says, you belong before you perform. Covenant says, you are loved while you are becoming. You do not need to explain your growth or justify your pace. You do not need to demonstrate transformation on demand. You are allowed to be unfinished here. You are allowed to be human here. You are allowed to learn slowly here. I am not grading your progress. I am walking with you through it. And the moment you stop trying to prove yourself is the moment your soul begins to heal. So release the burden of proving. Let your shoulders drop. Let your guard down. Let your heart breathe. You do not need to impress me to be accepted. You do not need to perform to be loved. You do not need to strive to belong. You already do. And from that place of rest, not pressure, not fear, not obligation, true change will grow naturally. When you are ready, we will walk forward together, not as judge and defendant, but as father and child, hand in hand, unhurried and secure. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything begins to slow, where the noise softens, where the urgency shifts from escape to presence. Stop running and look at me. Not in fear, not in shame, not bracing for disappointment. Just look. You have spent so long watching the road ahead, scanning for danger, planning your next move, protecting your heart from what might come. You forgot what it feels like to simply be seen while you see me. And yet, this is where healing deepens, not in motion, not in strategy, not in self-protection, but in presence. Running kept you alive, yes, but it also kept you from rest. Now I am inviting you into something quieter, stronger, truer. I am inviting you to stop, not because you failed, but because you no longer need to flee. Looking at me will feel vulnerable at first. You may feel exposed, uncertain, unsure of what will happen if you really meet my gaze. That is okay. Vulnerability often feels like danger to a heart that has learned to survive. But I want you to notice something as you look. There is no accusation in my eyes. No disappointment. No frustration. Only recognition. Relief. Love. You are not being inspected, you are being received. And as you hold my gaze, something will begin to change inside you. Your breathing will deepen. Your thoughts will sow. Your nervous system will realize it does not have to stay on high alert. This is not a trap. This is not a test. This is safety revealing itself in relationship. My child, stopping is an act of trust. Looking is an act of courage. You are not being asked to commit to the rest of your life in this moment. You are being asked to be present now. To let yourself be here without planning your exit. To let yourself be known without controlling the outcome. I am not pulling you into something overwhelming. I am grounding you in something steady. You can stay here. You can breathe here. You can rest here. Nothing bad happens when you stop running toward me. What happens instead is this. You remember who you are. You remember you are not alone. You remember you were never abandoned. You remember that love had been waiting, not chasing, not scolding, not demanding, but inviting. So stop running, my beloved. Lift your eyes. Look at me. I am still here. And I will be here in the stillness, in the next step, and in every step after, walking with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you, always. My beloved child, let this truth settle deeper than fear ever reached. I never let you go. Not when you slipped from certainty into confusion. Not when your grip loosened because pain made your hands tremble. Not when you questioned whether you still belong. You may have felt yourself drifting, but drifting is not the same as being dropped. You may have stumbled, but stumbling is not the same as being abandoned. I did not loosen my hold when your strength failed. I tightened it. I did not step back when you faltered. I stepped closer. And even when you believed you were free falling through silence and unanswered questions, you were held, firmly, faithfully, forever. The lie told you that distance equaled disconnection. The truth is this. My grip is not dependent on your grasp. I am the one who holds when you cannot hold yourself. I held you through moments you barely survived. Through nights when your thoughts raced and your chest felt heavy with unnamed grief. Through decisions you made just to make it through the day. I held you when your faith felt thin, when hope flickered instead of burned, when prayers turned into sighs. I held you when you stopped expecting rescue and simply focused on enduring. I held you in the pauses, in the detours, in the long in-between seasons where progress felt invisible. You called it luck that you didn't break. You called it resilience that you didn't quit. But it was me. It was always me. Holding you steady when the ground beneath you shifted. Holding you upright when despair leaned too close. Holding you back from edges you didn't even see. My child, there were times you tried to pull away completely, emotionally, spiritually, relationally. You tested the distance, wondering if it would finally separate you from me. But separation does not happen where love refuses to release. I did not cling in desperation. I held in covenant. There is a difference. Desperation grabs to possess. Covenant holds to protect. And I have protected you fiercely. Protected your heart when it was vulnerable. Protected your future when you were uncertain. Protected your life when you underestimated its value. Even now, as you look back over your story, you may begin to notice the invisible restraint, the moments when something stopped you, redirected you, softened the blow. That was not coincidence. That was care. So when fear whispers, "What if I fall again?" hear my answer clearly. You will not fall out of my hands. When doubt asks, "What if I can't hold on this time?" know this, you do not have to. I never let you go. I am not holding you loosely. I am not holding you temporarily. I am holding you with intention, with strength, with love that does not tire. And as you step forward now, no longer running, no longer bracing, let your heart rest in this certainty. You are not responsible for securing yourself. You are already secure. You always have been. My beloved child, hear this with the full authority of love that sees beyond the present moment. This is not the end of your story. What you thought was final was only a pause. What you believed was failure was only formation. What felt like loss was often protection wearing the disguise of pain. You stood at moments where you thought, "This is as far as I go," but heaven whispered, "This is where you turn." Your story did not end when you ran. It did not end when you doubted. It did not end when you went quiet. It did not end when you felt stuck, delayed, or forgotten. Stories end when hope dies, and yours never did. It flickered a yes, a hint yes. It whispered instead of shouted. But it lived. And because it lived, the story continues. You assumed chapters closed because they hurt too much to reread. You assumed opportunities passed because time moved on without you. You assumed doors shut because you were not ready when they opened. But I am not limited by chapters or calendars. I am the author who writes restoration into margins and meaning into mass. I can return to scenes you thought were finished and reveal truths you could not see then. I can redeem years you believed were wasted and weave them into wisdom you will one day carry with confidence. Nothing you walked through disqualified you from what comes next. In fact, it prepared you for it, prepared your discernment, deepened your compassion, strengthened your endurance. You are not behind. You are becoming. My child, the future ahead of you is not built on the absence of struggle, it is built on the presence of me. And now that you are no longer running, now that you are willing to stay, to look, to listen, the story opens into a new movement. One marked not by panic but by peace. Not by striving but by trust. Not by isolation but by companionship. This next chapter will feel different. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you will no longer face it alone or afraid. You will walk with me, aware of my nearness, attentive to my guidance, grounded in the truth that you are held. So do not mourn what you think you lost. Do not grieve as though the ending has already been written. Lift your eyes and see the page turning. There is more to tell, more to heal, more to build, more to love. This is not the end of your story, my beloved. This is the beginning of a chapter written with rest instead of running, with trust instead of fear, with presence instead of distance. And I am here, still here, writing every line with you. My beloved child, this is the invitation your heart has been aching for, even when you didn't know how to name it. Come home as you are. Not fixed, not polished, not certain, not strong. As you are tired, cautious, hopeful, trembling, sincere. You have been waiting for a version of yourself that feels ready enough to return. You told yourself you would come back once you felt more faithful, more disciplined, more consistent, more confident. But readiness is not a prerequisite for homecoming. Love does not ask for upgrades before it opens its door. Home is the place where becoming happens, not the place you arrive only after you are finished becoming. You do not clean yourself before stepping into shelter. You step into shelter so you can finally breathe, warm up, and heal. And I am saying this to you now with gentleness and urgency intertwined. Stop delaying your return by demanding perfection from yourself. Come home as you are. You have been rehearsing conditions. When I feel stronger, when I understand more, when I stop struggling like this. Those conditions have kept you circling the doorway instead of crossing the threshold. But hear me clearly. I am not waiting for you to impress me with progress. I am waiting for you to trust me with your presence. Your brokenness does not disqualify you, it qualifies you. Your uncertainty does not repel me, it draws me near. Your unfinished places are not embarrassing to me. They are where my work begins. You learn to hide parts of yourself because others made you feel like only the healed version was acceptable. But I do not love a future version of you more than I love you now. I do not prefer the polished you over the honest you. I do not withhold warmth until you can offer consistency. I receive you as you are because who you are is already known to me. My child, coming home is not an event. It is a posture. It is not a dramatic moment marked by perfect words. It is a quiet decision to stop hiding and start being present. You may feel resistance even now, a voice that says, "It can't be this simple." That voice is fear masquerading as wisdom. Love really is this simple, not easy, but simple. The complexity came from survival, not from truth. You do not need to arrive with solutions. You do not need to carry clarity. You do not need to present a healed resume. You need only to step forward with what is real. I will meet you there. I will not overwhelm you with expectations. I will not rush your process. I will not shame your pace. Home is where you are allowed to lay things down, not where you are asked to pick more up. So come home as you are, with the questions you still carry, with the emotions you don't fully trust, with the habits you're still unlearning, with the faith that flickers instead of roars. Bring it all. I am not fragile. I am not intimidated by the mess. I am not threatened by your humanity. This is where you belong, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. And home did not close its door on those it loves. My beloved child, let these final words settle into you not as a conclusion, but as a constant. I am still here. Not because you finally did everything right. Not because you returned quickly enough. Not because your faith stabilized or your questions resolved. I am still here because I have always been here. Before the running. During the distance. In the silence. Through the fear. Beneath the survival. I am still here in the same posture I have always held toward you. present, patient, faithful. And I need you to understand the power of that word still. It means unchained by time, unmoved by struggle, allotted by disappointment. Love that lasts does not fluctuate with circumstances. Love that endures does not retreat when tested. And my love for you is enduring. You have lived through seasons where still felt impossible, still hopeful, still believing, still trusting. You thought you lost those things, but still belongs to me before it belongs to you. I am still here when your strength wavers, still here when your confidence dips, still here when your emotions rise and fall, still here when life feels loud and when it feels unbearably quiet, still here when you are certain and when you are confused. My presence is not a feeling you have to generate. It is a reality you can rely on. You do not summon me by performance. You discover me by attention. And now that you are paying attention, you are beginning to realize what was true all along. I never left. My child, this truth is meant to anchor you moving forward. When fear whispers, "What if I mess up again?" remember this: I am still here. When doubt asks, "What if this doesn't last?" answer it with this: He is still here. When life surprises you with difficulty, when healing feels slow, when questions resurface, let this be the ground beneath your feet. I am still here, not watching from afar, not waiting for you to fail, not tolerating you reluctantly. I am with you, actively, intentionally, faithfully, and I will continue to be, with every step, every pause, every breath. So stop running. Stay present. Walk forward without fear of abandonment. You do not have to chase me. You do not have to catch up. You do not have to earn closeness. You are already here with me, and I am still here with you. This is not the end of the message. This is the beginning of a life lived from rest instead of fear, from trust instead of distance, from presence instead of performance. I am still here, my beloved, and I always will be. My child, because I am still here, my word must continue to flow like a river that does not dry up. There are souls listening right now who need to hear that I have not left them, and I am sending that truth through this work. When you give, you become a living conduit, carrying fire where faith has grown cold and light where hope has dimmed. I am the God who multiplies loaves and fish, and what you place in my hands will feed many beyond what you see. This is not the end of the message, it is the expansion of it through your obedience. I will bless what you release, protect what concerns you, and increase what you place in my purpose. Act now. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and walk forward knowing I am still here, working through you. My beloved child, do not let this moment pass in silence. If this word found you while you were running, while you were tired, while you were afraid to stop, then seal it with faith. Type in the comments, "I stop running." You are still here. Let that declaration be your turning point, your marker in the ground, your public yes to rest and return. As you write it, know this: you are not speaking into emptiness, you are responding to me, and I will meet you right where you stop. And now that you've named it, let the motion slow. You don't have to outrun what I've already caught up to. The moment you choose to stop is the moment I step closer, not with anger, but with authority and care. This pause isn't weakness, it's surrender. Stay right here, because the voice you're about to hear is the same one who's been calling you even while you ran. My child, stop. Right where you are, right in this moment, I command you to simply stop. I see the way your chest is heaving, not just from physical exertion, but from the weight of the life you are trying to carry on your own. You are running, and you have been running for a very long time. You are breathless, chasing after things that vanish like mist, fleeing from shadows that only exist in your mind. I see you darting through the chaos of your days, checking your phone, rushing to meetings, worrying about bills, and filling every silent moment with noise because you are terrified of what you might hear if things get quiet. But I am here to interrupt that chaos. I am here to cut through the noise with a voice that is gentle, yes, but firm enough to shake the foundations of your fear. Freeze. Take a deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs and realize that it is I who gave you that breath. You are exhausted. I feel it in your bones. It is a deep, marrow-level weariness that sleep does not fix. You wake up tired. You go to bed with your mind racing, replaying conversations, calculating risks, and planning defenses for battles I never asked you to fight. You are like a soldier who has forgotten the war is over, still digging trenches in your backyard. You are running aimlessly, a frantic sprint on a treadmill that is moving fast but taking you nowhere. You look at your life and wonder why you feel so empty despite being so busy. It is because you are running away, not towards. I asked you the same question I asked Adam in the garden when he tried to hide from me among the trees. Where are you? I am not asking for your GPS location. I am asking about the state of your heart. Where are you inside? Are you lost in anxiety? Are you buried under shame? Are you hiding behind a mask of perfection and success so no one sees how scared you really are? You think that if you just keep moving, if you just keep achieving, if you just keep distracted, you won't have to face me. But my child, look beside you. Look to your right. Look to your left. I am right here. You have run 1,000 miles in your mind, but you have not moved an inch away from my presence. I want you to drop your shoulders and clench your jaw. Listen to me. You cannot outrun your Creator. You cannot outrun the one who knit you together in your mother's womb. You act as if I am a distant spectator, watching you from a faraway cloud, waiting for you to cross a finish line before I applaud. That is a lie. I am the very ground you run upon. I am the air you are gasping for. I am the strength in your legs that you are using to run away from me. It is irony, my child, that you use the very life I give you to try and escape my love. You feel a knot in your stomach, don't you? The tightness that never seems to go away. That is not just stress. That is the exhausting effort of trying to be your own God, trying to control outcomes that are beyond your reach. Stop it. Stop trying to hold the world together. That is my job. I am the sustainer. You are the child. Your only job right now is to stop running and let me catch you. Actually, I do not even need to catch you, because I never left your side. You turned your back, you closed your eyes, and you started running into the dark. But I have been walking right next to you the whole time, waiting for you to turn around. Stop running from the silence. Stop running from your pain. Stop running from me. I am not here to judge you for the distance you tried to create. I am here to close the gap. I am here to tell you that the race is over. You do not have to perform anymore. You do not have to prove your worth by how fast you can go. I love you not for your speed, but for your soul. So hot. Plant your feet. Turn around. Face me. I am still here. I have always been here. And I am not going anywhere. My child, I need you to understand something very important about the space you think exists between us. You feel far away, don't you? You look at your life, at the mistakes you have made, and the time that has passed since we last truly spoke, and you measure the distance in miles. You think that because you have sinned, or because you have been busy, or because you have felt ashamed, that you have somehow traveled to a place where I cannot reach you. You imagine that I am sitting on a throne light years away, disappointed, waiting for you to make the long journey back home. I tell you now, this distance is a lie. It is a trick of the light, a mirage created by your own guilt. I am not a god who lives in a temple made of stone, nor am I restricted by geography. I am omnipresent. As it is written, if you go up to the heavens, I am there. If you make your bed in the depths, I am there. There is nowhere you can flee from my spirit. You can run to the ends of the earth. You can bury yourself in your work. You can hide in a crowd of strangers. Or you can lock yourself in your room with the lights off. I am still right there. You often treat me like a clockmaker who wound up the universe and then walked away, leaving you to tick down the seconds alone. But I am not a distant mechanic. I am your abiding Father. I am the air in your lungs. I am the very thought that allows you to wonder where I am. You try to hide behind your busyness. You fill your calendar so that you do not have to feel my presence. You turn up the music in your car to drown out the silence where I speak. You chase success and accolades hoping they will build a wall between your heart and my gaze. But my child, those walls are made of glass. I see right through them. The distance you feel is not a matter of location. It is a condition of your heart. I have not moved. I have never moved. In all the time you have been running, I have not taken a single step away from you. You have simply turned your back. You are like a person standing in the bright sunlight who closes their eyes and screams that the sun has gone out. Open your eyes. Turn around. The warmth you feel on your skin is me. Do not let the enemy convince you that you are too far gone. Do not let your feelings dictate your theology. Your feelings scream that you are alone, but my truth whispers that I will never leave you nor forsake you. The only thing separating us right now is your refusal to turn around and acknowledge that I am standing right next to you. Drop the illusion. Chatter the lie. Admit that I am here. Say it out loud right now. You are here. Feel the reality of that truth settle into your bones. You are not lost in the wilderness. You are just hiding in your own backyard, and I am waiting at the door. Let us look closely at this heart of yours, this frantic, beating heart that propels you to run. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with me, for I already know the answer. Why are you running? What is it that you are truly afraid of? You tell yourself you are running toward a goal, toward security, toward a better future. But deep down, we both know you are running from something. Is it fear? Is it the terrifying thought that if you stop, everything will catch up to you? I see the burden of guilt you carry. It is like a heavy rucksack you strapped on years ago and have forgotten how to take off. You think that if you slow down, the weight of your past mistakes will crush you. You are afraid to look me in the eye because you think I am angry. You have painted a picture of me in your mind, a judge with a gavel, ready to strike you down the moment you stop moving. You think I am keeping a record of every failure, waiting to present it to you. My child, hear me clearly. I am not angry. I am not waiting to punish you. I am waiting to heal you. Running is your defense mechanism. It is how you protect yourself from being vulnerable. If you keep moving, you don't have to feel the pain of that rejection from years ago. If you keep moving, you don't have to address the loneliness that gnaws at you late at night. You use speed as a shield, but I see the specific pain that drives your pace. I see the words that were spoken over you that made you feel small. I see the failure that made you feel like you had to prove your worth every single day. You are running because you are afraid of being known. You think that if I really saw you, the messy, broken, imperfect parts of you, I would turn away. But I already see you. I see the secrets you hide in the dark. I see the tears you cry when no one is watching. And I love you still. I love you completely. Your running does not hide you from me. It only exhausts you. I want you to stop and examine your fear. What is the worst that could happen if you stopped running today? You might feel the pain. Yes. You might feel the grief. Yes. But you would also feel my arms wrapping around you. You would feel the relief of no longer having to carry it all alone. You are running from a hospital because you are afraid of the doctor, not realizing that I am the only one who can bind up your wounds. Stop running from the cure. Stop running from the only love that is strong enough to handle your darkest truths. I am not here to hurt you. I am here to hold you. My child, let us talk about the cloak you are wearing. It is heavy. It is suffocating, and it was never meant for your shoulders. It is the cloak of shame. Just as Adam and Eve sewed fig leaves together to cover their nakedness when they heard my voice, you have stitched together a covering of shame and hiding. You tell yourself that you are unworthy of my presence. You look at your hands and see them as unclean. You look at your heart and see it as damaged goods. Shame whispers to you that you are not just someone who made a mistake, but that you are a mistake. This shame convinces you that you must clean yourself up before you stop running. You think, I will go to God when I have my act together. I will pray again when I have stopped sinning. I will return when I am worthy. My child, listen to me. That is a lie from the pit of hell. You cannot clean yourself up. You cannot wash away your own stains. If you could, I would not have needed to send my son to the cross. I despise shame. I hate it with a holy passion because it hurts you. It keeps you from me. It acts as a barrier, preventing my love from touching the places that need it most. You think your shame honors me, that it shows you are sorry. But shame is not repentance. Repentance is turning toward me. Shame is turning away from me. Shame says, I am too bad for God. Faith says, God is too good to leave me this way. The cross was the final answer to your shame. When Jesus hung there, he took your shame upon himself. He was exposed so that you could be covered. He was rejected so that you could be accepted. It is finished. The debt is paid. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So why do you still carry the bill? Why do you still run as if the debt collector is chasing you? I invite you, right now, to drop that cloak. You do not have to be perfect to come to me. You just have to be yours. I want you to imagine yourself taking off that heavy, dark coat of shame. Let it fall to the floor. Step out of it. Kick it aside. Stand before me in the truth of who you are, my beloved creation. I do not turn my face from you. I look at you with eyes of mercy, not judgment. You are welcome here. You are wanted here. Your shame has no place in my presence. Drop it at my feet immediately and breathe the air of freedom. I see where you run when the silence gets too loud. You run into the arms of the world. You run to your phone, scrolling for hours through the lives of others, hoping to numb the ache in your own soul. You run to food, to drink, to shopping, to relationships that you know are not right for you. You try to fill an eternal hole in your heart with temporary dirt. You think that if you can just find enough pleasure, enough money, enough distraction, you will finally feel okay. But let me ask you, has it worked? You are like a man trying to quench his thirst by drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. The world offers you neon lights and loud noises to drown out my still, small voice. It keeps you spinning, keep you wanting, keeps you comparing yourself to everyone else. It drains you. It demands your performance, your image, your energy, and it gives you nothing back but emptiness. Remember the prodigal son. He ran away to a far country. He spent everything he had on wild living. And where did he end up? In a pig pen, starving, wishing he could eat the husks that the pigs were eating. That is what the world offers you in the end, husks. Empty shells that look like food but have no life in them. You are exhausted because you are chasing things that have no soul. You are trying to find life in things that are dead. I want you to see the trap for what it is. It is a diversion. It is a strategy to keep you from the only source of living water. The world says, buy this, achieve this, look like this, and you will be happy. I say, come to me, and you will find rest. The world takes from you. I sustain you. The world demands you earn your place. I give you a seat at my table freely. Stop feeding the pigs. Stop trying to find nourishment in the wasteland. Come home. Come back to the source. I have a robe, a ring, and a feast waiting for you. But you cannot receive them while you are still chasing the illusions of the world. Put down the distraction. Turn off the noise. Silence the notifications. Come sit with me. I am the bread of life. I am the water that, if you drink it, you will never thirst again. The world will leave you dry, but I will make you a well-watered garden. Buzz. Do not dare turn away now. To stop here is to walk back into the very fire that is burning you, and the thought of you returning to that chaos breaks my heart. We have only just begun to uncover the freedom I purchased for you. Stay with me. I am about to show you how to drop the weight that has been crushing your chest. You not leave the operating table while the great physician is still working. Look at your life. It feels like a ship tossed in a violent storm, doesn't it? Your emotions rise and fall like waves. Your circumstances change with the wind. People come and go. Your bank account fluctuates. Your health varies. Everything around you is shifting sand. It is why you feel so unstable. That is why you run. You are looking for solid ground. But you are looking for it in places that are moving just as fast as you are. I want you to contrast your instability with my immutability. I am the Lord, and I do not change. Malachi 3:6. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I am the Rock of Ages. I am the only thing in this universe that is not subject to time, decay, or mood swings. I do not have bad days. I do not change my mind about you based on your performance. My love for you is not a stock market that goes up and down. It is a constant, fixed reality. Your failures do not change my character. You might fail 1,000 times, but I remain faithful. You might run away, but I remain present. You might doubt, but I remain truth. I am the safe harbor, not the stormy sea. You have been trying to anchor your boat to other boats, to people, to jobs, to feelings. And when they drift, you drift. It is time to drop your anchor into me. I am the breakwater that stops the waves. I am the fortress that stands against the wind. When you run to me, you are not running to a place that will crumble. You are securing yourself to something eternal. Stop trusting in your own ability to keep your balance. You cannot. The world is too slippery. Trust in my ability to hold you up. My love is the constant variable in the equation of your life. No matter what unknown variables you face tomorrow, loss, change, fear, my love remains the fixed constant. I am here to stay. I am the foundation that cannot be shaken. Build your house on me, and when the rains fall and the floods come, you will not fall. Stop running on the sand. Come stand on the rock. Feel the solidity of my promise beneath your feet. I am your God, and I will not be moved. My child, I see the ticket you are holding in your hand. It is not a literal paper ticket, but it is a decision you have made in your heart. You are trying to buy passage to Tarshish. You are trying to go in the exact opposite direction of where I have called you to go. You know the story of Jonah well, but you treat it like a fairy tale rather than a mirror. Look closely. You are Jonah. You have heard my voice whisper a direction, a calling, a reconciliation, a step of faith, a change in your life, and it terrified you. So what did you do? You ran down to the harbor. You looked for the first ship leaving for anywhere but here. You paid the fare with your peace of mind, and now you are sleeping in the bottom of the boat, hoping that if you just stay asleep, you can escape the destiny I have written for you. But listen to the wind howling outside your boat. Do you feel the waves rocking your life? Do you feel the instability, the chaos, the sudden storms that seem to come out of nowhere? You are blaming the devil. You are blaming your boss. You are blaming the economy. But I need you to understand something very difficult but necessary. I sent the storm. I did not send it to drown you. I sent it to wake you up. I sent it to slow you down. The storm is my severe mercy. It is my love putting up a roadblock because the path you are on leads to destruction. You think you can outrun your purpose. You think you can hide from your calling in a sea of distractions. I am the Lord of the sea. I am the wind. I am the great fish waiting to swallow you up, not to digest you, but to save you from drowning and spit you back out onto the shores of my will. You are running because you do not trust my character. You think that if you go to Nineveh, if you do the hard thing I am asking you to do, it will result in your misery. You think my plans for you are restrictive, boring, or painful. But I tell you, your rebellion is far more painful than your obedience ever will be. The misery you feel right now, the anxiety, the restlessness, the fear, is the result of fighting against the current of my grace. You are swimming upstream, exhausting yourself, while I am calling you to float in the river of my purpose. Stop running from your calling. Stop avoiding that conversation. Stop putting off that ministry. Stop ignoring the gifts I have placed inside you. You are trying to be someone else because you are afraid of being who I made you to be. You are hiding in a career that makes you money but kills your soul. You are hiding in a relationship that is comfortable but compromises your integrity. That is your Tarshish. And it will not work. The ship will not make it to port. I love you too much to let you succeed in running away from me. Surrender is not defeat, my child. It is alignment. It is the moment the gears finally lock into place and the machine starts working as it was designed. When you stop running and say, "Here I am, Lord, send me," the storm will cease. The waves will calm. You will find that the very thing you were running from, my will, is actually the only place where you will find true peace. Come out of the hull of the ship. Come up to the deck. Face the wind. And say yes. Your destiny is not behind you. It is waiting for you to turn around. I need to speak to you about the heavy stone you are carrying in your pocket. No, it is not a stone. It is a boulder, and you have dragged it around for years. It is the weight of unforgiveness. You are running, not just from your own sin, but from the pain someone else caused you. I see the face that flashes in your mind when I say the word forgive. I see the betrayal. I see the abuse. I see the abandonment. I see the unfairness of it all. And I see how you have decided that the only way to survive is to run away from that pain, to build a fortress of bitterness, and to vow that you will never let anyone hurt you like that again. But look at what this running is doing to you. You are drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You are running to escape the memory, but the bitterness is shackled to your ankle. Every step you take, it drags behind you, slowing you down, wearing you out. You think that by holding on to this grudge, you are punishing them. You think your anger is a shield. But my child, it is not a shield. It is a prison cell. And you are the one locked inside, not them. They may be out living their life, oblivious to your turmoil, while you are trapped in a cycle of replaying the hurt over and over again. I command you to forgive, not because what they did was right, not because it didn't matter. It mattered to me. I saw it, and I wept with you. I am the God of justice, and I will handle them. But I command you to forgive for your sake. I want you free. I want you to stop running from the past. Forgiveness is not saying, "It's okay." Forgiveness is saying, "I will no longer allow this person to control my future. I am handing the debt over to God." You are running because you are afraid to feel the pain again. You think that if you let go of the anger, you will be vulnerable. But I am here to help you carry the pain you are fleeing from. You do not have to process this alone. I am the healer of the brokenhearted. But I cannot heal a wound that you refuse to uncover. You have wrapped your wound in layers of resentment and silence. Uncover it. Let me see it. Let my light touch it. Release the debt. Stop the run. Imagine that person standing before you right now. Imagine the debt they owe you, the apology they never gave, the childhood they stole, the trust they broke. Now, imagine handing that bill to me. I paid for their sins on the cross just as I paid for yours. Let me handle the accounting. Your job is to cut the chain. The moment you release them, you will realize that you were the prisoner all along. And suddenly, your legs will feel light. The exhaustion will lift. You will be able to walk, to breathe, to live again. Do not let their sin against you become your sin of bitterness. Drop the rock. Walk free. I want to address the treadmill you have been running on for most of your life. It is the treadmill of performance. Somewhere along the way, you believed a lie. You believed that my love for you is a wage that you earn, not a gift that you receive. You think that I am a boss who is checking your time card. You think that if you pray enough, read enough, serve enough, give enough, and act holy enough, then, and only then, will I be pleased with you. So you run. You strive. You work yourself into the ground, trying to impress me. And when you stumble, when you miss a day, when you sin, you panic. You run faster, trying to make up for lost time, terrified that I am about to fire you from the position of child of God. Oh, my beloved, how you have misunderstood my heart. I do not love you because of what you do. I love you because of who you are. You are mine. I loved you before you were born. I loved you when you were formed in the womb. I loved you at your darkest moment, when you had nothing to offer me but your sin and your need. Do you really think that now, after I have saved you, I expect you to pay me back? Do you think my grace is a loan? Grace is not a wage for the swift, it is a gift for the weak. You are acting like an employee who is afraid of losing their job. But you are not my employee. You are my son. You are my daughter. A son does not have to earn his seat at the dinner table. He just comes home. I want you to stop working so hard to be loved. You are already loved. There is nothing you can do to make me love you more, and there is absolutely nothing you can do to make me love you less. My love is a fixed reality. It is settled. The cross settled it. When I say, be still and know that I am God, I am telling you to cease the effort. Cease the striving. Stop trying to polish your image. Stop trying to hide your weaknesses. I know you are weak. That is why I promise to be your strength. I am not looking for a champion runner. I am looking for a dependent child. I am not looking for your achievements. I am looking for your heart. Get off the treadmill. It is going nowhere. Step off the machine of religion that demands you perform to be accepted. Step onto the solid ground of relationship. Breathe. Relax. You don't have to impress me. I am already crazy about you. I look at you and I smile, not because you did everything right today, but simply because you exist. You are my delight. So stop running to earn a prize you already possess. You have the prize. You have me. My child, there is a specific kind of running that looks very noble on the outside but is deadly on the inside. It is running for me instead of walking with me. You are busy. Your calendar is full of good things. You are serving at the church. You are helping your neighbors. You are leading the Bible study. You are volunteering. You are saying yes to every request. Everyone looks at you and thinks, wow, what a faithful servant. But I look at your heart, and I see a wasteland. I see a dry well. You are pouring out water for everyone else, but you have not taken a drink yourself in a very long time. You are suffering from the Martha syndrome. You are busy in the kitchen, clanging the pots and pans, frustrated, anxious, and secretly resentful, while I am sitting in the living room waiting for you to just sit at my feet. You think that your activity is evidence of your intimacy. It is not. You can do miracles in my name and still be a stranger to me. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. I desire the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. I want you, not just your labor. This frantic pace of ministry and service is a form of hiding. If you are busy doing things for God, you don't have to sit still and deal with your own soul. You don't have to face the silence where your doubts and fears live. So you fill the silence with noise, holy noise, but noise nonetheless. You are running on empty fumes. You are snapping at your family. You are cynical. You are tired. You pray, but your words hit the ceiling. You read the Bible, but it feels like a textbook, not a love letter. These are the warning lights on your dashboard blinking red. My child, come back to the source. You cannot give what you do not have. You are trying to feed the multitude with an empty basket. Come to the waters. Come and drink. Let your work cease for a season if it must, so that your heart can beat again. I would rather have you do nothing and be close to me than do everything and be far from me. Your works are filthy rags if they are not born out of love. I am calling you to a holy stoppage. Put down the clipboard. Put down the agenda. Put down the responsibility of saving the world. I already did that. I don't need a savior. I need a friend. I need you to come back to your first love. Remember how it used to be, when you just wanted to be near me. Let's go back there. Let's go back to the garden. Just you and me. No audience. No applause. No tasks. Just presence. Stop running for God and start resting in God. My child, you have learned that you cannot earn my love by running yourself into the ground, but you can extend my love by sowing into my kingdom. There are millions still breathless, still frantic, and still deaf to my whisper because the noise of the world is too loud. I invite you now to be my vessel, to help carry this message of rest to the weary souls who are on the brink of collapse. Sow a seed today through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, and watch how I multiply it into a harvest of peace for nations. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. Do not hoard your blessing out of fear. Release it as an act of faith, trusting that as you water others, I will surely water you. Click the button now, offer your gift, and partner with me in calling the runaways home. My child, do not silence my voice. Not now. We are reaching the deep roots of your pain, and to walk away is to leave the wound open and untreated. It grieves me deeply to see you choose the familiar shadows when my light is finally breaking through. Press on with me. I am about to reveal the face of love that will change how you see yourself forever. Do not disappoint my spirit by settling for half a healing. When you finally stop running, when your legs give out and you collapse, or when you simply decide you can't take another step, you are going to have to turn around. And this is the moment you fear the most. You are terrified of what you will see when you look at my face. You have projected all your own self-hatred, all your own disappointment, and all the critical voices of your past onto me. You expect to turn around and see a God with arms crossed, tapping his foot, eyes blazing with anger, mouth set in a line of disapproval. You expect a scolding. You expect "I told you so." You expect rejection. But I want you to brave the turn. I want you to pivot on your heels right now and look at me. What do you see? Look closely. My eyes are not filled with condemnation. My eyes are filled with tears. Tears of relief that you have finally stopped. Tears of compassion for the pain you have been in. Tears of a love so deep and so wide that it swallows up every mistake you have ever made. Remember Peter? He denied me 3 times. He ran away into the night, weeping bitterly, crushed by his own failure. He thought he was done. He thought he was disqualified. But when I rose from the dead, I went to find him. I stood on the shore and made him breakfast. And when I looked at him, I didn't ask, "Why did you betray me?" I asked, "Do you love me?" I sought restoration, not revenge. My gaze heals. It does not destroy. I am looking at you right now with the same look I gave the rich young ruler. It says in Scripture that I looked at him and loved him. I am looking at you and loving you. I see the mess you are in. I see the addiction you are struggling with. I see the marriage that is falling apart. I see the financial ruin. And I do not look away in disgust. I move closer. I am the father running down the driveway to meet the prodigal son while he is still a long way off. I am not waiting for you to clean up before I embrace you. I am rushing to throw my robe over your pig-stinking clothes. Do not be afraid to make eye contact with the Holy One. In my eyes, you will find your identity. You will see your reflection not as a failure, but as a beloved child. My look is a warm blanket on a cold night. It is the sun breaking through the clouds. It is the safest place in the universe. So, lift your chin. Stop looking at your feet. Stop looking at your past. Look at me. I am smiling at you. Yes, you. I am glad you are here. I have missed you. Welcome home. My child, listen to the invitation that has been echoing through the corridors of time, waiting for you to slow down long enough to hear it. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. You have heard these words before, perhaps in a song or a sermon, but today I want you to feel the weight of them in your very soul. You are weary. I know it. I see the deep circles under your eyes that no amount of sleep can erase. I feel the heaviness in your chest that sits there like a stone, making it hard to take a full breath. You are carrying the weight of the world, the weight of your family, the weight of your future, and the weight of your past. And you are trying to carry it all while running a marathon. I did not design you to carry this load. You are crushing your own spirit under a yoke I never placed upon you. The world has strapped a heavy, ill-fitting yoke across your shoulders. The yoke of more money, more success, more life, more approval, more control. It rubs your skin raw. It bows your back. It demands that you keep pulling, keep plowing, keep producing, even when you have nothing left to give. And the cruelest part is that this yoke convinces you that if you stop, everything will fall apart. It tells you that rest is for the weak, that rest is lazy, that rest is a luxury you cannot afford. But I tell you today, rest is not a sign of weakness. It is a spiritual weapon. Rest is an act of war against the chaos that tries to consume you. When you rest, you are declaring to the enemy, God is in control, and I am not. That is a terrifying declaration to the darkness. I created the Sabbath not because I was tired. I am the omnipotent God who never sleeps, but because I knew you would need to stop. I built a rhythm of rest into the very fabric of creation to remind you that you are a human being, not a human doing. You are a creature, not the creator. I am inviting you to an exchange, a divine trade. Take off that heavy, wooden yoke of anxiety and self-reliance. It is splintered and heavy. Lay it down at my feet. In its place, I offer you my yoke. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Why? Because when you are yoked with me, I do the heavy lifting. We walk side by side, shoulder to shoulder. I set the pace, and my pace is never frantic. My pace is grace. My pace is peace. When you walk with me, you don't have to pull the weight of the universe. You just have to stay in step with the one who holds the universe together. True rest is trust. Running is disbelief. When you run, you are saying with your feet, I don't trust God to handle this, so I have to handle it myself. But when you stop, when you sit down, when you exhale, you are saying, God, I trust you. Let down your guard, my warrior. You have been fighting for so long, looking over your shoulder, anticipating the next attack. You are safe here. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to defend your reputation. You don't have to explain yourself. Just come. Just be. Collapse into my arms and let me hold you. Let me sing over you. Let me restore the soul that the world has tried to drain dry. This is your permission slip to stop. Rest is not a suggestion. It is your salvation. My child, we need to have a serious conversation about the voices you are listening to. You are running because your feelings are screaming at you. Fear screams, run. It's not safe. Shame screams, hide. You're unworthy. Anxiety screams, panic. Everything is going wrong. Your emotions are like a fire alarm that won't turn off, deafening you, sending adrenaline coursing through your veins, urging you to flee the building of your life. And because these feelings are so loud, so visceral, so physical, you assume they must be true. You treat your emotions as if they are prophets, predicting a disaster that hasn't happened yet. But I am here to tell you, your feelings are real, but they are not always true. The heart is deceitful above all things. It changes like the weather. If you navigate your life by the compass of your emotions, you will always be lost, spinning in circles, chasing security, but never finding it. You must learn to ground yourself in my truth, which is the only solid rock in the shifting sea of your soul. My truth says, stand. My truth says I am with you. My truth says you are more than a conqueror. When your feelings say I am alone, my truth says I will never leave you. When your feelings say I am a failure, my truth says you are my masterpiece. When your feelings say this is the end, my truth says I know the plans I have for you, plans for a future and a hope. Who will you believe? The panic of the moment or the promise of eternity? The enemy uses your fear to keep you moving, to keep you frantic, because a moving target is hard to heal. He wants you exhausted. He wants you reacting to every shadow, every noise, every what if. But I use truth to steady you. I give you the armor of God not so you can run away, but so you can stand firm. Look at the armor I have given you in Ephesians 6. The belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of peace, a shield of faith, a helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit. Notice something, my child. There is no armor for your back. Why? Because I never designed you to run away. I designed you to face your giants. I designed you to stand your ground, rooted in the knowledge of who I am. So, when the wave of emotion hits you, and it will hit you, do not let it wash you away. Acknowledge it, feel it. But then, subject it to the Word of God. Speak to your soul like David did. Say, why are you downcast, O my soul? Put your hope in God. Do not follow the panic. Do not let fear take the steering wheel of your life. Fear is a terrible driver. It will drive you off a cliff. Let truth drive. Let my promises be the map. Ground yourself in what I have said, not in what you feel. Your feelings are the storm, but my word is the lighthouse. Keep your eyes on the light, and you will not crash. Stand firm. Breathe in my truth. Let it settle the chaos in your mind. I know where you are right now. You are in the valley. The air is cold here. The shadows are long and terrifying. You look around and all you see are cliffs on either side, trapping you, blocking out the sun. It feels like death. It feels like loss. It feels like the end. And your instinct, your survival mechanism, is to run. You want to sprint through this valley, eyes closed, screaming, hoping to get to the other side as fast as possible. You are running from the shadow, terrified that the darkness is going to swallow you whole. But I want you to stop and look at the shadow. Do you know the only way a shadow can exist? A shadow is only possible if there is a light shining. You are focusing on the darkness of the valley, but the darkness is actually proof that my light is present. You are running from the very place where I want to meet you most intimately. You think that because you are suffering, I must be absent. You think that because it hurts, I must be angry or distant. But my child, I am the shepherd who walks through the valley of the shadow of death with you. I do not wait for you on the mountaintops. I descend into the depths. I am not a fair-weather God. I am not afraid of your grief. I am not intimidated by your depression. I am not repelled by your tears. I am walking this painful path alongside you. I am matching your steps. When you stumble in the dark, I am the hand that catches you. Stop running from the grief. Let me comfort you in it. You cannot heal what you do not feel. You have to walk through the valley to get to the table I have prepared for you in the presence of your enemies. My rod and my staff, they comfort you. They are not weapons to beat you. They are tools to guide you. The rod protects you from the predators in the dark. The staff pulls you back when you get too close to the edge. I am guiding you, even when you cannot see the path. Even when the fog is so thick you cannot see your hand in front of your face. I can see. I know the way out. I know how long this valley lasts. and I promise you, it does not last forever. So, stop running. You might trip in the dark if you run. Slow down. Walk with me. Let's talk here, in the shadows. Tell me about your pain. Tell me about your fear. I can handle it. I am the light in the shadow. I am the warmth in the cold. I am the presence that turns the valley of weeping into a door of hope. Do not fear the evil, for I am with you. My presence is your protection. We will walk through this together, step by step, until we see the sun rise again. And we will see the sunrise again. You remember my servant Elijah. He was a mighty prophet, a man of power, yet he ran for his life into the wilderness, collapsed under a broom tree, and prayed to die. He was exhausted, terrified, and burned out. Sound familiar? He ran all the way to a cave on a mountain, hiding from the threats of the world. And there, I told him to stand on the mountain, for I was about to pass by. A great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart, but I was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but I was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but I was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper, a still, small voice. And that is when Elijah covered his face and listened. My child, you are looking for me in the earthquake. You want a sign. You want a thundercloud. You want the ground to shake and a billboard to appear in the sky telling you exactly what to do. You want the loud, undeniable miracle that forces you to stop running. But that is not how I usually speak to the hearts of my beloved. I speak in a whisper. Why? Because to hear a whisper, you have to be close. You have to lean in. You have to be intimate. A shout is for someone far away, a whisper is for someone right next to you. You cannot hear me while your feet are pounding the pavement. You cannot hear me while your headphones are blasting the noise of the world. You cannot hear me while your mind is screaming with anxiety. The noise of your life, the traffic, the notifications, the opinions of others, the news cycle, the inner critic, is drowning out the frequency of my grace. I am speaking to you all the time, but you are tuned to the wrong station. Quietness is the classroom of the Holy Spirit. I am calling you to silence. I know silence scares you. I know you are afraid that in the silence, you will have to face yourself. But in the silence, you will face me. And I am not scary. I am whispering your new name. I am whispering words of love, of direction, of affirmation. I am whispering, you are mine. You are safe. You are forgiven. Tune your ear to me. Create a sanctuary of silence in your day. Turn off the car radio. Put the phone in the other room. Sit in the chair and just listen. At first, your mind will be noisy. But it's okay. Let the noise settle like dust in a sunbeam. Wait. Wait for the whisper. It will come. It will sound like peace. It will sound like a thought that is too good, too pure, too loving to be your own. That is me. I am right here, whispering into your heart. Stop running so you can hear what I have to say. Silence is not empty. It is full of my presence. Do not pull away. I am leaning in close. I am about to whisper secrets that will unlock your destiny, and it would crush me to speak these promises into an empty room. You are trembling on the brink of the very revelation you have prayed for in the dark. Do not let the enemy steal this moment. Dave, listen. The breakthrough is not coming. It is here. My child, let us get to the root of why you are running. You run because deep down, you still think like an orphan. An orphan runs to survive. An orphan knows that if they don't hunt for food, They don't eat. If they don't protect themselves, no one else will. If they don't fight for a spot, they will be left out in the cold. An orphan lives in a mindset of scarcity. There is never enough love, never enough money, never enough safety. So they hustle. They strive. They manipulate. They run. They hoard. They look at everyone else as competition. But I did not leave you as an orphan. I came to you. I adopted you. I paid the highest price, the blood of my son, to sign the adoption papers. You are not a street kid begging for scraps. You are a prince, a princess of the Most High God. You have a father who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. You have a home you do not need to earn. You have an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading. Sons and daughters do not run to survive. They rest to inherit. Imagine a child in a loving home. Do they worry about where their next meal is coming from? Do they panic about paying the mortgage? No. They play. They rest. They trust. They know that their Father is good and that He has provided. I want you to receive the spirit of adoption today, the spirit that cries out, Abba, Father. Abba means Daddy. It is a cry of intimacy, of total dependence, of absolute trust. You do not need to scavenge for love. You do not need to beg for attention. You do not need to fight for your place in the world. I have prepared a table for you, a banquet, and your seat has your name on it. No one else can take it. It is reserved for you. The food is hot. The cup is overflowing. Why are you running around outside looking for crumbs when the feast is ready inside? Realizing your identity changes your pace. When you know you are a son, you stop sprinting like a slave. Slaves run, sons walk. Slaves worry, heirs worship. I want you to shift your mindset right now. Say it out loud. I am not an orphan. I am a child of God. Feel the tension leave your shoulders. You have a dad who can beat up the bullies. You have a dad who can fix what is broken. You have a dad who loves you more than life itself. Come home. Wash your face. Sit at the table. You belong here. You are home. My child, stop looking over your shoulder. You are running so hard because you think the past is chasing you. You are running from memories that haunt you in the quiet hours of the night. I see the ghosts you are fleeing, the relationship that failed, the business that went under, the words you wish you could take back, and the trauma that was inflicted upon you when you were too young to defend yourself. You think that if you just run fast enough, you cannot pace the regret. You think that distance will erase the sting of what happened. But you have discovered a hard truth. You cannot run away from your own shadow. Your past is tied to you, and dragging it behind you is only exhausting you. I am the God of redemption. I do not erase your past as if it never happened. I redeem it. I take the broken pieces of your history and I make a mosaic of grace. But I cannot redeem what you will not release. You are gripping these painful memories so tightly, trying to hide them, trying to deny them. You are afraid that if you stop and look at them, they will destroy you. But I am telling you, they will not destroy you because I am standing between you and them. I am the buffer. I am the filter. You cannot leave your past behind by running. You must hand it to me. Give me the shame of that night. Give me the pain of that betrayal. Give me the bitterness of that loss. I am the only one strong enough to handle it. Remember Lot's wife? She looked back. She was consumed by what she was leaving behind instead of focusing on where she was going. Do not be like her. Do not let your past calcify you into a pillar of salt, frozen, stuck, and lifeless. Look forward. Look at me. I hold every tear you have ever cried in a bottle. Nothing you have been through is wasted. I saw it all. I was there when you were hurt. I was there when you failed. And I am telling you now that your history does not define your destiny. I am the author of your story, and I am writing a new chapter. But we cannot start the new chapter if you are still frantically trying to rip out the pages of the old one. Let me heal the wounds you are trying to ignore. Let my love touch the scars. Scars are not signs of defeat. They are signs of healing. They are proof that you survived. Stop running from the person you used to be. That version of you is gone. You are a new creation in me. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. But you must believe it. You must stop visiting the grave of your past mistakes. Come away from the cemetery. Come into the garden of today. I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Your past is a reference point, not a residence. You don't live there anymore. You live with me. So, let go of the heavy baggage. Drop it right here, right now. Walk away from it and don't look back. Walk towards me. My child, you have the right instinct. You know you need to run. But you are running in the wrong direction. You are running away from trouble, fleeing into isolation, hoping that if you build walls high enough, no one can hurt you again. But isolation is not safety. It is a prison. I am calling you to a different kind of running. I want you to run into me. I am a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Notice the difference. You don't run away from the battle to be safe. You run into my presence. The world is a dangerous place. I know you feel exposed. I know you feel like a target. That is why I offer you a fortress. But you cannot experience the safety of the fortress if you are standing outside the gates, frantically pacing back and forth, trying to fight the enemy with your own small sword. The gates are open. I am standing there, waving you in. Come inside, I say. Come in here where the arrows cannot reach you. This is the secret of the secret place mentioned in Psalm 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. You cannot rest in my shadow if you are running away from me. You have to get close. You have to come under my wings. Have you ever seen a mother hen gather her chicks when a hawk is circling? She spreads her wings and the chicks run underneath. They disappear into her feathers. They are hidden. That is what I want to do for you. I want to cover you with my feathers. Under my wings, you will find refuge. My faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You are trying to hide from me because you think I am part of the threat. You think I am going to judge you or demand more from you. But I am not the hawk. I am the hen. I am the protector. Hiding in me is the only way to find true peace. Stop trying to build your own bunker out of money, or control, or cynicism. Those walls will crumble. My walls are eternal. True security is found in surrender. It is the moment you stop fighting to protect yourself and let me protect you. It is the moment you say, God, I am coming in. I am locking the door behind me. I am trusting you to handle what is outside. In this fortress of solitude, in this quiet place of prayer and presence, the noise of the world fades away. The threats of the enemy are muffled. Here, you can breathe. Here, you can take off your armor. Here, you are just a child, safe in your Father's house. Run to me now. The door is open. I see your hands. They are clenched into tight fists. You are holding on so tight that your knuckles are white. You are trying to hold your life together by sheer force of will. You are running because you think that if you stop, the spinning plates will crash, the balls you are juggling will drop, and everything you have built will fall apart. You have convinced yourself that you are the captain of your soul, the master of your fate, and that the only person you can truly rely on is yourself. My child, that is a heavy, crushing lie. You were never meant to be the god of your own life. You are not powerful enough, wise enough, or strong enough to control the universe. Running is often just a frantic attempt to fix things yourself. You want to fix your finances. You run to fix your children. You run to fix your reputation. You are exhausted because you are doing a job that is above your pay grade. You are trying to do my job. I want you to hear this. Admitting you are powerless is the first step to true power. It sounds backward to the world, but it is the kingdom truth. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. As long as you are relying on your own strength, I cannot show you mine. As long as you are gripping the wheel, fighting for control, I have to sit in the passenger seat and watch you drive off the road. Cease striving and know that I am God. That word cease means to let go. It means to drop your hands. It means to unclench those fists. It is scary, I know. You think, if I let go, who will catch me? I will. I am the safety net. I am the sovereign Lord who holds the stars in place. Do you think I cannot hold your life together? Do you think I am confused by your situation? Do you think I am surprised by your problems? Let go of the control you think you have. It is an illusion anyway. You cannot control the weather, the economy, or the hearts of others. But you can know the one who does. Let me take the wheel of your life. Move over. Sit in the passenger seat. Look out the window and rest. I know how to drive. I know the destination. And I know how to get you there safely. Your self-reliance is a prison of exhaustion. My sovereignty is a palace of peace. Stop trying to be God. Just be my child. It is a much lighter burden to carry. You think you are the one running. You think you are the active one in this story. My child, look behind you. I am the one running. I am the hound of heaven, and I have been pursuing you with a relentless love since the day you were born. You are running away, but I am chasing you. Not to hurt you, not to punish you, but to save you. My word says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. That word follow in the ancient text actually means to hunt, to pursue, to chase down. I have sent goodness and mercy to hunt you down. You are fleeing from judgment, but I am chasing you with grace. You are fleeing from rejection, but I am chasing you with acceptance. You are fleeing from death, but I am chasing you with life. Why do you flee from the one who died for you? Why do you run from the only one who knows you completely and loves you anyway? You act as if I am a predator, but I am the lover of your soul. I am the father running down the road to embrace his child. My pursuit is relentless because you are precious to me. I will not give up on you. I will not stop chasing you. I will chase you through the valley. I will chase you up the mountain. I will chase you into the dark. I will not let you go. I see you getting tired. I see your legs giving out. Good. Let them give out. Stop running from the solution. Turn around and collide with my mercy. Let my goodness catch you. Let my grace tackle you. You cannot outrun my love. It is faster than your shame. It is stronger than your fear. It is more enduring than your rebellion. I'm coming for you. Not with a whip, but with a rub. Not with a gavel, but with a ring. I am coming to wrap you in my arms and carry you home. You don't have to take another step away. Just stop. Turn. And let me catch you. This is the collision you have been needing your whole life. The collision between a weary sinner and a relentless Savior. Let it happen. I have pursued you with relentless mercy, and now I ask you to join me in the pursuit of others who are lost in the dark. This ministry is my net, cast into the deep digital sea to catch those who are drowning in fear, exhaustion, and shame. Will you help me pull them in? By supporting this work today, whether through a donation or joining as a member, you are not just giving money, you are giving breath to the breathless and hope to the hopeless. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. This is my promise to you as you open your hand to support my word. Do not let this moment pass without action. Let your generosity be the echo of my love chasing down another soul. Click the link in the description or use Super Thanks right now and seal your partnership with my kingdom purpose. Do not disconnect. Look at me. To leave now is to reject the embrace I have run across eternity to give you. I am pursuing you with a jealous, consuming love. Do not grieve me by turning back to the wasteland when the banquet table is in sight. We are always home. Take these final steps with me. Your victory is waiting in the next breath. I know what scares you the most. It is not the past. It is the future. It is the what-ifs. What if I lose my job? What if the doctor calls with bad news? What if I end up alone? What if I fail? You run because you are trying to outrun the unknown. You are trying to secure your future, map out every contingency, and build a safety net so tight that nothing bad can ever happen to you. You are afraid of the dark room of tomorrow. But my child, I am already in your tomorrow. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I am not bound by time. I am already standing in your next year. I am already standing at your funeral, and I am already standing at your resurrection. I have seen the end from the beginning, and I am telling you, it is going to be okay. Faith is walking without seeing the full map. I rarely give my children a map. I give them a compass. I give them a guide. You don't need to know the way. You just need to know the guide. If you are walking with the one who created the terrain, you don't need to worry about the path. I know where the cliffs are. I know where the water is. I know the safe way through the wilderness. You are paralyzed by the doors you are afraid of. You stand before the door of the future and you shake because you don't have the key. But I hold the keys. I hold the keys to death and Hades, and I certainly hold the keys to your life. When you get to the door, I will be there to open it. You don't need the key right now. You just need to keep walking with me. Stop forecasting disaster. You are using your imagination, a gift I gave you to dream with me, to create nightmares. You are writing horror stories about your future that haven't happened yet. Stop it. For it is my faithfulness. Look at your past. Have I ever failed you? Have I not provided? Have I not sustained you? I am the same God. I will be faithful tomorrow just as I was faithful yesterday. Trusting the unknown is actually trusting the knower. I know. And because I know, you can rest. You can stop running from a future you cannot control and start trusting the God who controls the future. Give me your what-ifs. Exchange them for even those. Even though I walk through the valley, I will fear no evil. Even though the earth give way, I will not be shaken. Why? Because I am with you. That is the only guarantee you need. Stop running from tomorrow. Walk with me today. That is enough. My child, look at the ground beneath your feet. It is cracked, dry, and dusty. It looks like a desert that has not seen rain in years. This is the landscape of your soul right now. You have been running for so long under the scorching sun of self-reliance, trying to make things grow in a wasteland, that you are spiritually dehydrated. Your tongue cleaves to the roof of your mouth. Your thoughts are brittle. Your patience is dried up. You snap at the people you love because you have no moisture left in your spirit to offer grace. You are parched. And the tragedy is that you are running past the very well that could save you, looking for a mirage on the horizon. I want to pour out my spirit upon your dry ground. I am not a God who withholds water from the thirsty. I am the God who makes rivers flow in the desert. But you cannot drink while you are running. You cannot catch the rain if you are sprinting to find shelter from the very clouds I sent to bless you. You have to stop. You have to look up. You have to open your mouth and receive. The refreshing rain of my presence is falling right now, but you are too busy holding up the umbrella of your pride, trying to stay strong, trying to stay composed. Put down the umbrella. Let the rain of my spirit soak you to the bone. Repentance is often preached as a scary word, a word of punishment. But the true meaning of repentance is simply turning around. It is a change of mind that leads to a change of direction. And my word promises that when you repent, when you stop running away and turn back to me, times of refreshing will come from the presence of the Lord. Do you hear that? Times of refreshing. That is what you are craving. You don't need a vacation, you need a restoration. You don't need a break, you need a breath of heaven. You need the kind of water that seeps deep into the cracks of your heart and softens the hardness that has built up over the years. Drink from the well that never runs dry. You have been drinking from broken cisterns, relationships that drain you, careers that demand everything and give nothing, entertainment that leaves you feeling numb. Those wells are empty. They are muddy. Come to me. I am the living water. If you drink of me, you will never thirst again. I want to wash your weary mind. I know your thoughts are racing, filled with dust and debris from the battles you have fought. Let my word wash over your mind like cool, clean water. Let it rinse away the fear. Let it cleanse the guilt. Let it soothe the inflammation of your anxiety. You have been trying to flee your circumstances, thinking, if I just go somewhere else, I will be happy. But I am calling you to bloom where you are planted. You don't need a new location, you need a new hydration. A tree planted by the water does not fear the heat. Its leaves are always green. It bears fruit even in a drought. That is who I want you to be. Not a tumbleweed blown around by every wind of change, but a mighty oak with roots that go down deep into the hidden stream of my love. Stop running across the surface of your life. Dig deep. The water is right here. Drink, my child. Drink deeply. When you are running at full speed, everything around you becomes a blur. You cannot focus on the details. The world becomes a streak of colors and shapes, distorted and unclear. This is what has happened to your spiritual vision. Your panic, your busyness, and your constant motion have blurred your sight. You have lost your focus. You are seeing monsters where there are only shadows. You are seeing mountains where there are only molehills. You are seeing impossible giants where there are only defeated foes. Fear distorts perspective. It makes your problems look massive and it makes your God look small. I am calling you to a halt so that you can realign your vision. I want you to blink away the sweat and the tears and look again. But this time, do not look at the storm, look at the Savior. Fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of your faith. When Peter looked at the waves, he sank. When he looked at me, he walked on water. The waves were the same in both moments. The wind was just as loud. The only thing that changed was his focus. What are you staring at right now? Are you staring at the bank account balance? Are you staring at the medical report? Are you staring at the empty chair? Whatever you stare at will grow in your mind until it consumes your horizon. I want you to see your life through the lens of eternity. When you run with your face to the ground, all you see is the dirt. Lift your head. Look at the timeline of eternity. This trouble you are facing, this painful, heavy, real trouble, is light and momentary compared to the eternal weight of glory that is being prepared for you. I am not minimizing your pain. I'm maximizing your perspective. I want you to see that the story is bigger than this chapter. The painting is bigger than this dark stroke of the brush. You are running because you think you have seen the future and it looks bleak. But you are looking through a dirty window. You are looking through the filter of your past trauma. Let me clean the glass. Let me show you what I see. I see a future where you are whole. I see a future where this trial has produced gold in your character. I see a victory that you cannot imagine yet. But you will never see it if you keep running with your eyes squeezed shut in fear. Vision is restored in the presence of the light. You cannot fix your own eyesight in the dark. Come into my presence. Let my light shine on your situation. Suddenly, you will see the exit door you missed. You will see the resource you didn't know you had. You will see the helper I sent who is standing right next to you. Stop running blindly into the night. Stop, open your eyes, and let me show you the reality of my kingdom. It is all around you, waiting to be recognized. My child, we are transitioning now. We are moving from the frantic, breathless sprint of the runway to the steady, rhythmic walk of the companion. I do not want you to run for me anymore. I want you to walk with me. Here is a profound difference. Running implies distance. You are either chasing something far away or fleeing something right behind you. But walking implies intimacy. Walking implies that we are going to the same place, at the same time, together. Remember Enoch. The scripture says simply, Enoch walked with God. He didn't run ahead of me in impatience, and he didn't lag behind me in fear. He walked with me. He matched his pace to mine. That is what I desire for you. I want to be your walking partner in this life. I want to be the one you talk to as you walk down the street, the one you lean on when the road gets steep, the one you share the silence with when there are no words left. To walk with me means you have to slow down. I am ready in a hurry. You are always rushing, always checking the time, always trying to be efficient. But love is not efficient. Love is present. I want you to learn the pace of grace. He is a steady, unhurried rhythm. It is the pace of a heartbeat, not a panic attack. Keep in step with the Spirit, my word says. If you are exhausted, it is because you are running ahead of the Spirit, trying to force doors open that I haven't unlocked yet. Or you are dragging your feet, refusing to move when I say move. Let us get in sync. Watch my feet. When I step, you step. When I stop, you stop. When I turn, you turn. This requires attention. It requires you to be tuned into me, not to the demands of the crowd. The crowd will always shout, faster, more, now. But I will whisper steady. Trust. Here. We will move forward together, but we will do it at a pace that sustains your soul, not one that destroys your body. No more frantic sprinting. No more exhausting yourself trying to save the world before dinner. Just steady faithfulness. Just doing the next right thing. Just loving the person in front of you. Just trusting me with the outcome. Walking with me makes the journey bearable. In fact, It makes the journey beautiful. You will start to notice the flowers by the roadside again. You will feel the breeze. You will find joy in the journey, not just the destination. Take my arm. Let's go. We have a long way to walk, but we will walk in together. My child, hear this final word and let it seal everything we have spoken about today into the deepest part of your spirit. I am here to stay. I am not a visitor in your life. I am not a guest who comes for the weekend and leaves when things get messy. I have moved in. I have taken up residence in your heart, and I have unpacked my bags. There is absolutely nothing that can separate you from my love. Not your failures, not your fears, not your past, not your future. Not angels, not demons, not high power, not low depths. Nothing. I have placed my seal upon you, the seal of the Holy Spirit. It is a mark of ownership that tells the spiritual realm, this one belongs to God. Hands off. You are securely held in the palm of my hand. Look at your own hand. Imagine a small pebble resting in the center of your palm. Now close your fingers around it tight. Can anyone snatch that pebble out? No. And I am infinitely stronger than you. I am holding you with a grip of steel and velvet, strong enough to protect you, gentle enough to comfort you. You are safe. The war is over. You can come home now. You have been fighting a war inside your head, a war of worthiness, a war of survival, a war of fear. I am waving the white flag of my grace over your life. The hostility is gone. The barrier is broken. You don't have to fight for your territory anymore because I have given you the kingdom. I want you to drop your weapons. Drop your defenses. Drop your arguments. Just come home. I call you now to breathe in my peace. Let it fill your lungs like fresh oxygen. Let it displace the carbon dioxide of your anxiety. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives, temporarily, conditionally, fragilely. I give you a peace that passes understanding, a peace that stands guard over your heart and mind. So, here is my benediction over you, my beloved runner who has finally stopped. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am your God. I am here. I am right here. I am closer than your next breath. I am loving you in this very second. You are seen. You are known. You are held. And I am never, ever letting go. Amen. My beloved, you have finally stopped running, and now I invite you to plant a seed of gratitude in this fertile ground as a sign of your new stability. As you have received this word of peace, release a portion of your resource to ensure this beacon of light continues to shine for others wandering in the night. Bring your offering into my storehouse and test me in this. See if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Your gift today, via PayPal, membership, or super thanks, is a declaration that you value my voice above the noise of the world. I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and guard the fruit of your labor as you honor me with your substance. Do not hesitate. Make your offering now and secure your legacy as a builder of my kingdom. Click the link and give with a joyful heart, for I am with you. My child, do not let this word vanish like mist. Drive a stake in the ground right now and mark this moment as the finish line of your fear. I call you to seal this covenant publicly, drawing a line in the sand that the enemy cannot cross. Stop the cycle of hiding and declare your surrender with the boldness of a warrior coming home. Type these words below as a prophetic act of your will. I stop running. I choose you. Let this written declaration be the anchor that holds you steady. I am watching. I am listening. and I am ready to catch you. Amen.